even a place to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus with you. Johnny Hill with me. No Brett Norsworthy today or tomorrow or the next day through the new year. He's taking some much-needed time off, so you're stuck with me and Johnny. Hope you're okay with that because we've all you got. But we're with you for the next 3 hours. And we've got a lot to get to today. We talked a lot yesterday. We're coming off of Tigers and Grizzlies, big wins. It was National Signing Day, so we talked a lot of college basketball, a lot of NBA, a lot of college football, and not much is going to change today.
Not much.
We're going to talk a lot about all those, but we'll also talk NFL today. It's Thursday, so we've got Thursday night football. And just to remind everybody, tonight you can listen to Thursday night football, Saints at Rams. Right here on Sports 56. That game is on Prime Video, so if you don't have Prime, you can listen to it right here. Pregame for that will start at 6:30, and then the game will start about 7:15 over the weekend. We're loaded from Saturday to Monday. On Saturday, Ole Miss versus Southern Miss at 12:30, Bengals at Steelers at 3:30, Bills at Chargers at 7. On Sunday, we got Browns Texans at noon, Jaguars Bucks at 3. Patriots, Broncos at 7, and then Monday, Raiders, Chiefs at noon, Giants, Eagles at 3, and then the game that a lot of people are excited about, and that is the Ravens and 49ers at 7 p.m. All of that action right here on Sports 56. Johnny, yesterday, like I said, we talked a lot about National Signing Day. I thought the Tigers had a really good day.
They did.
And brought in some really good players. The only thing I would say about that is, I was talking to Dave this morning, and we were both talking about this, about, a good class, but
it's a good class.
You always got to wait until you see them on the field.
That is true.
To see how they'll pan out, see how they'll play, to see, who gets the looks and who doesn't. I've over the last couple of seasons, there have been guys that the Tigers have landed that in my head I've said, man, that's a huge pickup.
Yes.
From transfer coming in from big schools, or a recruit that seems like a
a guy,
high level prospect, and those guys just have trouble finding the field. I think back to even this past year. Last year you had a guy, you had 2 defensive backs come in out of the transfer portal. One came from Florida State, the other came from Campbellsville, which is an NAIA school. And so I think a lot of people would look at that and say,
the Florida State guy
is going to be the starter. He's going to get a lot of playing time. And it was the other way around. It was the guy from Campbellsville that came in and started game 1. So, it's a lot that has to play out and a lot that goes into it, but I do think Memphis landed some really good players yesterday, and I thought it was a really good class.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. And like you said, going back to what you were saying, and you were talking about specifically Malik and Diego, And that all goes back to Brian on coaching, the scheme, and also how do that player fit within the framework. Because as we all know, we hear a lot of good guys coming from high power, power fives, and coming to our conference, and always they don't get they don't play because they just don't fit the necessary thing what the coaches want or what they need culturally as a group. So that a lot goes into that, man. A lot.
No, you're absolutely right. And so that was certainly here locally the big story. But nationally, there were a handful of big stories that happened yesterday. And I wanted to touch on a couple of them while we get the show started today. The first one, John was talking about this earlier yesterday. The number one JUCO prospect, Deion Smith, who signed with Ole Miss yesterday. He pulled up to his signing day ceremony in a Lamborghini.
Are you serious?
How about that? Me and John were debating earlier today. Rented. I don't think he's making enough NIL money to go out and buy a Lamborghini.
That's rented.
I could be wrong. Maybe they got him with a partnership with an NIL or with a Lamborghini. Know.
I can see that for sure. Probably partnership with one of the boosters over there.
Maybe. I don't know. But that was one that got a lot of headlines, a lot of clicks on social media of the number one JUCO prospect just pulling up to his signing day ceremony in a Lamborghini, which was fun. Ole Miss had an unbelievable day yesterday.
They had a great day.
And still more on the way with maybe a couple of guys in the transfer portal that could land at Ole Miss. So a good day for them. Somebody that didn't have a good day.
Who didn't have a good day?
Yesterday. Well, I guess it's how you look at it. Did they have a good day or did they not have a good day? But one that made headlines certainly yesterday was Colorado.
Okay.
In the transfer portal, if you look at like 247, I think Rivals as well, they have transfer portal rankings, which is just the transfer portal players, and then they have recruiting rankings. I'm still confused if 247, I don't know if 247 combines them or not. They certainly don't, because I'm looking at Colorado right now, and they only have 6 commits. Colorado finished yesterday with 6 commits to their team out of high school.
But yeah, I agree. I did see that yesterday. They didn't really get a lot of high school players, but I seen that they got a lot of bounce back players from the portal,
which is cool. So, I mean, they have 16 transfers, which I think
he's going older. I think he's going older. What do you think?
Well, I mean, certainly, and that's kind of what he wants to do. Is he wants to just kind of, I don't know, it seems like he wants to just try to reload every single season, and maybe not reload is the right word, but obviously he had, spots he needed to fill. Both offensive and defensive lines were not very good last year. I think, you could get a couple more weapons in there. I think those are things that he wanted to go out and get experienced guys to come in and do. But at the same time, and Johnny, you know this certainly more than I do, and certainly more than I think a lot of people do, being around a football program. But this is not basketball where you only have 15 guys on a roster and you can reload with older guys. You've got to have some sort of foundation.
Yes.
And you've got to have recruits that can come in and be that foundation and be that kind of building blocks, because you don't want to rely on transfers every single year and do it in this way. And so I think that's very troubling for Deion, especially when Deion came in, and obviously when he first got hired. I like Deion. I think he's
I like
him
coach.
Too. I like watching his teams play. I like his charisma. I like everything about him.
He brings a lot of entertainment to the game.
Yeah. My backpack that broke a year ago probably at this point, but I had a Deion Sanders Topps baseball card in my
That's
bag.
amazing.
That was it was like a split, or maybe it had 2 pictures, but it was baseball and football. And
that's amazing. That's cool.
So I kept it with me in my backpack. But when he first got the job at Colorado, obviously he's bringing his sons. He's bringing all of these guys that played with him that were big time players. He's bringing in other transfers that want to come and play with him, and he was a big hit. Then you've got recruits that were coming in. I think I think the number one cornerback last year's class,
but he really didn't play a lot though this year.
Right, and that was a big story.
He didn't play a lot.
It was more, Deion would come out and, that's one thing about Deion is Deion's going to
He's going to let you know.
He's going to tell you how it is. He's not sugarcoating much. And he came out mid-season and someone, asked him, "Hey, this guy, I don't remember his name.
I forgot.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could pull it up real quick. But, why is this guy not playing?" And Deion basically said, you got to show up to meetings on time. You got to put in effort at practice.
You got to learn to be a pro, basically.
Yeah, you got to learn the playbook. You got to learn these things if you want to play. I'm not just going to put somebody out there because he's a 5-star prospect or whatever. And so, I think he's going about it the right way of kind of coaching, but at the same time, I think only having Memphis, and this is obviously transfers and high school players, but yesterday Memphis signed 35 guys?
They signed 35.
And including that was 20 JUCO high school guys.
I think how Memphis did is a healthy mix of bounce backs as transfers.
I wish I could see like what Ole Miss did, because Ole Miss is
they did it a good way too, because they had a healthy mix of high school transfers and players. But how Deion is going about it, I see what you're saying, but I feel like he wants more older guys. But I love the portal, Brian. But I feel like the portal is going to hurt high school players.
Well, certainly.
It's going to hurt high school players.
And we were talking to David Cohn yesterday, and he brought up a good point of, a lot of guys now are signing early. Or committing early. Obviously, you can't sign early, but they're committing early, and for the most part, they are sticking with their commitments. Obviously, you'll have flips.
Yeah, you have occasionally flip here or there.
Right, but for the most part, guys are committing early and usually sticking with their commitment because of how big the transfer portal has gotten. Now, I mean, if I'm a 4-star receiver, and I'm committed to play at Florida State, and if I don't commit early, in my mind, I'm thinking, look at what they added last year.
That's true.
They added Keon Coleman, and they added 3 or 4 high-level receivers out of the transfer portal, and that could be my spot if I don't go ahead and commit right now. And so I think you're seeing that, and looking just at the top 10 or so in terms of commits for the top 10 in recruiting rankings from yesterday, and I guess it still stands today. Georgia, 28 commitments. Alabama, 25. Miami, 27. Ohio State, 21. Texas, 22. Oregon, 25. Auburn, 21. Oklahoma, 28. Florida State, 22. And they had a couple flips out. Florida, who lost a couple of their top prospects in the last couple of days.
They did.
They finished with 18. Texas A&M finishes with 16. Ole Miss is number 21 with 21 commits on top of the how many guys do they have coming out of the transfer portal? 10 guys out of the transfer portal. So they finished yesterday with 31 guys, and that's experienced and high-level recruits. Yeah. And so it scares me for Deion in Colorado that you finished yesterday with 5 guys signing. 6 commits.
Yeah.
But your top guy, we talked about him yesterday at towards what's trending, or maybe it was what I could have done without yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the offensive lineman. Yeah. Oh, he is escaping my mind right now.
Jordan Seaton.
Yes.
He is the number one offensive lineman in the country.
Yeah.
He's the number 13 player in the country, regardless of position, and he did not sign yesterday.
He's still taking visits.
And yes, it was reported yesterday is when I saw it that he quietly took a visit to Maryland over the weekend. And there are people that are thinking he could end up going to Maryland. And so, your class, I mean, the guys you brought in are fine. You brought in a 4-star receiver. You brought in a 4-star athlete. You brought in a 4-star defensive lineman, a 3-star defensive lineman, and a 3-star running back. Those are good players.
Yeah.
But when you're not getting... you either got to go quality over quantity, or you got to go quantity over quality, or try to find that mix in between, and he's not doing any of that.
Right now, Deion is getting more transfer guys, but it's also a good thing when you get high school guys. You know why? Because you can really build the future of the program. When you go and get a lot of guys from the portal, that seems like a win-now mentality. So he got a win-now mentality. But also, like how Georgia doing and Alabama, how they doing, they getting a healthy mix, Brian. Yeah. You need a healthy mix to succeed, I feel.
I'm curious if this is, and I think this is for sure reckless speculation, but I think it's a wild thing to even throw out there. But I wonder if Dion is just trying to go after guys that are going to be here for a year, maybe 2 years, because he does not see Colorado as a long-term spot for him as a head coach.
That's not a bad question to ask, because actions speak louder than words at this point. Because Bryant, a lot of them guys who signed are committed to 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely in the spring after the season, after next season, they're going to most likely, if they're not declared, they're going to, go back into the portal, or they're going to stay. These days and times, we just don't know what's going to happen, man. So it's good to get some homegrown talent. And I feel like we're going to also see a lot of less true freshmen starting.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
We're going to see a lot of less true freshmen starting, man. That's what I'm saying.
And sure, I mean, you'll certainly see, the top end, recruits starting. But that's a good point. I mean, you've got guys coming in, and I've heard a lot of high school coaches, some that I have, connections with here in the city, but also I just, I've seen stories about other high school coaches, in places like Georgia and Alabama and Florida and Texas, where high school football is really, really good. Talking about, my guys now are just as good as the guys I had 10 years ago, and they're not getting the same offers that those guys are getting. They're getting offers that are,
Power 6.
Right. These teams, Florida State's not offering them, and
they're not.
This guy's good enough to play there. And so, it's interesting, and it's something to keep an eye on. But I thought it was, I just, think it's so weird that Colorado only signed 5 yesterday and landed, I guess 6 committed, but that one kind of big time prospect has not signed yet, which is definitely a cause for concern. The last thing before we get to top and not top story that I wanted to bring up, there was another story that was making a lot of fans, I don't want to say upset, but it was scaring them a little bit, because there was a top prospect yesterday, a wide receiver, the top wide receiver in the country, and his name is now escaping my mind. Johnny, you know who I'm talking about.
Who?
You don't know who I'm talking about.
What team he plays for?
He plays for. He's in high school. I don't know. He just signed with somebody, and I'm blanking on his name. Give me a second. I'll find it. Filibuster for a second, Johnny.
What's his name?
Ryan Wingo.
Oh,
He
yeah.
signed with Texas yesterday. A guy that he's the 4th receiver in the class this year.
Okay.
Really good. I've watched a couple of his games this year. Really good player. Guy that Missouri thought they were going to land him for a while, but then he ends up going to Texas. Well,
Okay.
This one was coming down to the wire.
Really?
And he's from St. Louis area, so obviously Missouri roots and stuff, and had taken a couple visits to Missouri, but had committed to Texas, but it was still coming down Missouri. There was, some rumors going around yesterday that, Missouri was making a late push on him, and that, they could maybe land him.
Really?
And, time's, going by, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. This guy, nobody's heard from him, and he hadn't committed yet. And I think 8:30 rolls around, and he still hadn't committed, or he hadn't signed yet. He's committed, but he hadn't signed the papers yet, and everyone's kind of freaking out. He was asleep. He was just sleeping in.
Amazing story.
And people were freaking out. I mean, literally, people were like, oh my gosh, we're about to have a massive flip. Missouri's going to land this wide receiver. And Texas fans, you go to these message boards and stuff like that. I mean, they were freaking out. He was just sleeping. He was just,
how amazing
catching
this
some
is.
Z's, which I really, really love. Well, National Signing Day has come and passed. Obviously, some more news with transfers and stuff like that are going to continue to come out. But it was an interesting day yesterday for sure. But we got a lot to get to today, so let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Bill Bender from the Sporting News will join us to talk college football. A lot to get to with him, especially the breaking breaking news today that Florida State has scheduled an emergency board of trustees meeting for tomorrow morning. It sounds like this could be the start of maybe a move for Florida State out of the ACC, trying to figure out if there is a possible way to get out of the ACC. We know about the grant of rights that goes through 2036 for the ACC. So we'll talk to Bill. We'll start right there with that news and get Bill's thoughts on what could happen tomorrow, what this could mean for Florida State and the ACC. We'll also get to who won signing day, who lost signing day. Michigan also got their notice of allegations from the NCAA. One level one violation handed down to Michigan. So we'll get Bill's thoughts on all of that. Towards the end of that segment, we've got to make our picks. We got 2 games, Johnny, to pick. A game tonight in college football, a game tomorrow afternoon that will start before we get to Friday football forecast. So we'll go ahead and pick both of those games at the end of that segment after we get done talking to Bill. 3:45, we got to talk Grizzlies. Big game tonight. John Morant back inside FedEx Forum against the Pacers. Going to be 2 fun teams, and obviously a lot of people excited to see John Morant make his first start at home. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spots Track and the Front Office Show will join us to talk the NBA. A lot to get to with Keith. At 4:30, we'll talk about tonight's Thursday night football game, Saints at Rams. We'll also get to some other NFL news. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us like he does every Thursday afternoon to talk Tigers. We got to talk Tiger basketball. We got to talk Tiger football, what Ryan Silverfield put together yesterday with the signing class that they signed. So a lot to talk about with Greg. 5:30, we get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're sitting in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's time for the Family Leisure's Christmas sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Are you tired and sore from shopping? Check out their huge in-stock selection of hot tubs and massage chairs. Surprise the kids with a new arcade, game table, or play gyms. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from their family to yours at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Let's go ahead and get to top story of the day.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, Ja Morant. We had the return game against New Orleans. Boy, was that fun. Man, watching him go off in the second half.
Yes,
and
it
then
was.
for them to draw up the play for him to win it at the buzzer. It was fun to watch. I mean, you no doubt about it. It was what everybody really in sports was talking about yesterday, and I think it sets up for a really, really fun game tonight against the Indiana Pacers, a team that is young, hungry. Tyrese Halliburton, their star guard, and I think John was talking about this earlier. Or maybe it was he was talking to Isaac Simpson, and Isaac was saying this. John Morant was asked about it, and honestly, I'm sure he's heard it, but a lot of people are starting to say Tyrese Halliburton has made that jump
above
over John Morant. And look, I don't want to go back to these, rankings or whatever, because they're meaningless. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's these websites just coming up with things for people to talk about
for
and
shock
their
value
rankings or whatever. And so, to an extent, when Tyrese Halliburton is able to play and John Morant isn't, I don't necessarily blame them. Tyrese Halliburton is an incredibly, impressive player, but I do think John Morant is a better player. I do think John Morant, though, has seen that and was asked about it in his first press conference back before he was actually able to play. Somebody asked him if he had seen those rankings, if he had seen kind of what the media,
what everybody been saying.
I think it was Anthony Sane that actually asked him that, he said it doesn't really matter to me, it's whatever, good for them, I guess, but it's whatever. But he knows.
He knows.
He knows.
That's one of the
there's
receipts.
People that had him. He's keeping receipts, Johnny.
That's
You're
one
right.
of the receipts.
So I think it's going to be a fun game tonight. I think it's going to be a fun back and forth. Actually, The Athletic, they do a daily newsletter that they send out, and they do a games to watch tonight or whatever. And tonight, their League Pass game of the night is Pacers and Grizzlies. It says Ja Morant's first home game this season comes with a great matchup against Tyrese Halliburton. So it looks like a lot of people very excited for this one.
I am.
I'm super excited about it. That one tips off at 7 p.m.
And I'm locking
home
into
game.
it, man. My top story is Joel Embiid. Oh man. Hey, get this, Brian. I don't know if you've been knowing, but the MVP poll just came out, and he's the leading candidate right now.
For good reason.
Yeah, he's a leading candidate, and if he do win it, he'll be the first player in 76ers history to win back-to-back. Yeah. And that's just amazing, man, especially Joel Embiid. He had a lot of injuries, in the first couple of years of his career, and that just I'm happy for the story that's happening right now, man.
How about this I hope I'm not stealing your big number again. I saw this earlier. I was going to save it till when we talked with Keith in about an hour.
Go ahead.
But Joel Embiid, after last night's performance, became the first player since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1972 to have 12 straight games of 30-plus points and 10-plus rebounds.
That's a great stat, Brian.
It's a great stat.
Great stat.
And it just shows how dominant he's been. I mean, you think of all of the dominating big man who could go out there and get 30 points on any night, get 10 or more rebounds on any given night. And he's the first one to do it since Kareem did it back, what was the year, 1972. So that's a long time.
That's very impressive, man.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's got to be, honestly, what Ryan Silverfield did yesterday.
Really?
I'm impressed with what he did with his signing class. I know I've been told by people, temper your expectations. It's just names on paper, and that's a very good point.
That is true.
But I do look at what Ryan Silverfield did, and I think there was a clear plan in his head of, we need to go out and get these things. And I think he went out and did it. I think the biggest thing that I've heard a lot of people talk about was offensive line. You need offensive linemen. You need to kind of bounce back after you're going to lose 4 of your top 6 offensive linemen from this season. So you've got to bounce back from that and be able to replace that. And I think he did. He goes out, he gets an offensive lineman from Louisville, an offensive lineman from Marshall, an offensive lineman from UL Monroe, 3 JUCO offensive linemen. Yeah. Now, there are some question marks I have. Defensive backfield was not great. Johnny, that is an area that you're very familiar with. And added a couple, a handful of DBs. I don't know how many of those really excite you. I don't know how many of them are game changers. I think anybody can be a game changer.
Anybody can, I feel, like you said, Brian, if given an opportunity and they just fit what Coach Silverfield and them needs to do, man.
And so I think there's still a lot of question marks, but I am impressed with the class that Ryan Silverfield brought in yesterday.
My not top story is Arch Manning. Arch Manning, get this, Brian. He is estimated to make $2.8 million in NIL.
That last name, man.
And get this, that's way more than Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy is making a current salary of $870K. And people are making a big deal about it, but if Brock Purdy do finish out his rookie contract, he's gonna get more than that, especially if he win the MVP, Brian.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, and it's exciting. Obviously, he hasn't entered the portal. I don't think he will. There were some, thoughts about maybe he would with Quinn Ewers returning next year, but it sounds like he's gonna stick at Texas, maybe sit another year, and then try to become that guy. And if he can be that guy at Texas in the the college football playoffs this year, going to the SEC next year, I mean, it could be really, really big for him. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead. We need to get to a break. When we come back, we're talking college football with Bill Bender.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today. Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Don't miss out on new deals every day during Lowe's 25 Days of Deals. Right now, find gifts under $100, like the Craftsman V20 Drill Kit or Impact Driver Kit, just $59 each. And don't forget gift cards for everyone on your list. Shop online and pick up curbside for holiday shopping made easy. Because Lowe's knows deals every day. Valid through 12/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Joining Brian and Brett now on Sports Time is Bill Bender, national college football writer for the Sporting News, and on Twitter X at Bill Bender. Here's Bill with Brian and Brett.
Bill Bender joins us now from the Sporting News. He joins us every single week to talk college football, and he joins us now. Bill, thanks so much for joining us. And I want to start off with kind of the news of the day. Florida State has scheduled an emergency Board of Trustees meeting for tomorrow. What do you expect to happen in this meeting tomorrow morning?
Not much. I don't think they're going to leave the ACC tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, but it's first step, a larger conversation for them. I mean, obviously, between the summer and the revenue sharing, the realignment, and now them being left out, I'm sure they're going to raise questions about what the best move for them in the future is.
Mm-hmm. How long, let's say, they start the conversation tomorrow and we kind of see it progress a little bit. How long of a process from this meeting to some actual substance of them leaving the conference?
I mean, they're going to be in for a legal fight if that's the route they take because of the grant of rights.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of money we're talking about. So, but I think that's definitely on the table, those kind of conversations, and we'll see if it comes to that.
Do you think, let's say we get over all of these hurdles and they find a way out? It sounds like they've been looking. I mean, we know they've not been quiet about their want or desire to leave the ACC. If they could find a way out, do more teams in the ACC follow?
I think so. I mean, it could be the beginning of the end. And, as you saw Brett McMurphy tweet today, there's, an Armageddon-like effect for college football in terms of losing, I think North Carolina, Clemson, Virginia, those type schools would probably look for something else. As I put in our write-up today, guys, 15 Power 5 schools, including Notre Dame, have a 65% winning percentage or better. Next year, 11 of those 16 will be in the Big Ten or the SEC.
Wow.
That leaves Florida State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Utah, and Oklahoma State. So those 5 schools are the ones to watch because I think they dictate the next move.
Yeah. Interesting. It's going to be interesting. Bill, yesterday was National Signing Day. We had a lot happening all over college football. But I'm curious, the kind of big news of the week was the flip from quarterback Dylan Raiola from Georgia to Nebraska. He has a lot of ties to Nebraska. What did you make of that move from him, and how big of a get is that for Nebraska?
Yeah, it's a nice move for Nebraska. It gives them their best recruit in, I don't know, since Marlon Lucky. That's what we found, 2005. Wow. They don't have a lot of 5-star guys roll through there. So, yeah, I think it's a huge recruit and a huge get for Nebraska. And we'll see what they do with it. I mean, that's the thing. Can you build? Does he stay? Mm-hmm. One, and how do they build around him will be the next big question.
There was a lot of conversation last week when this kind of rumors started coming out that maybe Dylan Raiola would flip from Georgia to Nebraska. And the other name that was in there was Kyle McCord. There was some interest there between Kyle McCord and Nebraska about bringing him in, but he ultimately lands at Syracuse. Kyle McCord's a guy that you've watched a lot at Ohio State. What kind of fit do you see there between him and Syracuse?
Well, an upgrade, no matter how he fits, because Syracuse, he had 3,180 yards passing last year. Syracuse has had one quarterback in its history clear that in a single season.
Good Lord!
So, I mean, that's a huge get in terms of that for the program, no doubt. So, I think so. I think he'll fit. I think Fran Brown has had a good signing day, and they've done some good things in the portal. So. Clearly, Fran's learned from the best in Kirby Smart down there in Athens.
It's pretty good guy to learn from, I guess. Who were your kind of winners, losers from National Signing Day yesterday?
I mean, the usuals, right? I mean, you can't say Georgia and Ohio State, they're just so much better than everybody else at compiling all that 4- and 5-star talent, and they did that again. So that's one. Like I said, Syracuse did well, and Oregon did well between the portal and what they did, and it's a lot of more of the same. But schools like Missouri found a way to have some success as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The two that jumped out to me and kind of, I don't want to say concerning, but in sort of a negative way, I think Colorado only getting 5 signees yesterday, 6 commits, but their 1 5-star has not committed. Now there's some rumors coming out that he took a visit last week to Maryland and that he could land up there. What did you make of the day? Obviously dominating in the transfer portal. I think 247 has Colorado as the number 1 transfer portal class in the country. But when it comes to recruiting, on the other hand, not a big day for Dion. What'd you make of that?
I guess they're going to go with they prefer to do business in the portal. I still think you have to have a combination of both. Yeah. And in this case, like you said, was it 5 that actually signed? Sustainable long term. I mean, all it takes is one class where you miss a couple guys in the portal and things go wrong, and you're back to square one. So, yeah, not their best day, but hard to render judgment, and we'll see if they get Seton. Sounds like he may be in conversations, or at least trying to maybe go to Maryland.
Yeah, it's incredible. And another team that I saw a lot of people talking about yesterday because of how highly touted their class was kind of going into this week, and then had a lot of guys flip out, was Florida. And Billy Napier, there was some talk around the end of the season. They miss out on a bowl game. There was some kind of talk about maybe making a change. But it seemed like everyone could fall back on what he's been doing recruiting-wise in these classes that he's planning on bringing in. But then you had a lot of flips yesterday. I think he started the day in the top 10, around 7 or 8, falls out to about 14 or 15. How is this going to work for Florida when it seems like he's been able to rely on, I'm going to bring in these recruiting classes, and there's some heat in there with what he's done on the field?
Well, it kind of crumbled on the defensive side of the ball. They did still land their quarterback, and that's important. So it doesn't mean it's a total loss. But, yeah, losing 5 or 6 defensive recruits, having Dan Mullen kind of troll them on X.
Yeah.
I got that right for the first time. And all of those things, it's not a great look. But I think just a little more patience is required there. They're one of the. I remember we were trying to do this with Mike Norvell, and they finally popped out of 13-0.
It's a really good point. Really good point. We're talking to Bill Bender from the Sporting News. We've already had a handful of bowl games out of the way. We've got one tonight. We've got a handful this weekend, and one that really sticks out to me, Northwestern and Utah this weekend. I remember before the season started with everything that happened up at Northwestern and coming off of a 1-win season. A lot of people, me and Brett included, were talking about this Northwestern team might not win a game all season. They might, get lucky and win one game, but a massive turnaround after, all the bad pub, everything that happened before the season. 7-5 right now, and like I said, we'll play Utah this weekend. What have you made of the job that David Braun has done in his first year at Northwestern?
Well, it might be rough in that bowl game because Utah does the same things they do and does them a little better. But I mean, a wonderful coaching job to get them to a bowl game and do the things that they were able to accomplish, especially after how bad they looked in the opener against Rutgers. So, they're a team definitely not passing judgment on. I thought they had a wonderful season, and Braun did the right things to make himself the right guy to take over that job in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Last thing for you, Bill, before we let you go, we finally got word from the NCAA on Michigan, kind of the story that had dominated the entire season. It's being reported that Michigan and Jim Harbaugh face one level 1 violation for not cooperating with or misleading NCAA investigators, and then also 4 level 2 violations. What did you make of that news that came out yesterday? Where do you think it goes from here?
Well, where it goes from here is pretty unpredictable. That's hard to say, but it's hard not to draw a conclusion that the NCAA, at least on some level, isn't. It feeds into the narrative that they're out to get Jim Harbaugh when you're putting that out on signing day.
Yeah.
So where that goes, but Jim Harbaugh, there's some people that think he may coach in the NFL next season. There's others that think he might get a show cause, and still others that think the best way to kind of put it to the NCAA would be continue coaching at Michigan. So all 3 of those doors to me are viable options at this time.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we at least got, something from the NCAA, and then maybe can start the moving forward and seeing kind of what's next for both Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. But, Bill, thanks so much for joining us. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Enjoy the weekend. We'll do it again next week.
Hey, sounds great. Thanks so much for having me. Take care.
Thanks, Bill. Bill Bender from the Sporting News. He joins us every single week to talk college football and just does a great job covering the sport. I mean, these last 2 days, in terms of National Signing Day and kind of everything going on around college football, we've had 2 pretty good guests to talk about it with.
We have, man.
David yesterday and Bill today. I mean, there's some
great lineup.
Pretty heavy hitters for sure.
Hey, man. Brian,
what's up?
I had a caller ask a question, and I just wanted to know your quick take on it before we go.
Thanks for the call. Keep the calls coming. 901-360-8255. Call, text, all open. We're talking whatever you want to talk about. If we're not talking to a guest, you text in something, you call in something, we'll talk about whatever.
Yes, sir, man. And shout out to Bobby Bailey, man. He asked this.
Bobby.
He asked this, Brian. Is it necessary for Memphis to go to a Power 6 conference? To a Power 5 conference, especially with the expansion of the 12-team playoffs?
It's an interesting question, Bobby. Thanks so much for the call. That's interesting. I'll talk about it a second here, but we might get back into this on the other side because we do need to get to a break. That's a good question because I think it really depends on how you view the future of college football.
Yeah.
Because obviously we can see in realignment. I love college basketball. Anybody that listens to the show knows that I love college basketball. I don't want to say I love it more than college football,
but it's
very close.
Yeah.
It's probably closer than most. But college football dominates realignment and dominates the college athletics as a whole. It's the moneymaker. It's where you're getting, everything. And so I think, when you talk to people, and a lot of people view the future of college athletics because of what we have now in these super conferences almost in the Big Ten and the SEC. And, I think a lot of people are viewing that you're going to get to a college football landscape where it is just the top 80 schools, top 75 schools.
Yeah.
And that's what Division I college football is. That's kind of the highest level of college football. And so if that's the way you think it's going, yeah, you want to be in a Power 5 conference. I think you want to be in a Power 5 conference regardless because the money's better, the TV.
The exposure. Like I was telling Bobby,
better.
It's a lot more exposure and
absolutely.
a lot more money for not only for the football program, but all the programs.
Absolutely. And so I think that's huge. And so obviously for those two reasons, I think you want to be in a Power 5 conference. But at the same time, with the expanded playoffs, I think the Tigers are in a really good spot right now to go out next year, win the American, and then you're in that 12-team playoff. And I'm curious, we're going to talk to Greg Gaston in a couple hours, and I'm curious to talk to him and ask him because I'm curious how many Group of 5 programs like Memphis, who are constantly top 3 or 4 in the conference every year in football for at least the past 4 or 5 seasons. Charlotte, who has all of this money in the American. Those are the two that I kind of paid the most attention. USF had a unbelievable day yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm watching ESPN2 in here, and they're talking about USF right now and the day they had yesterday. I think there's part of it where these coaches can go out and say, hey, you played at Auburn last year. Memphis picked up a wide receiver from Auburn last year.
Yeah.
You 33 games. I think I saw 33 games over 1,000 yards. So let's just say 1,000 yards in 33 games. That's about 30 yards a game.
Yeah.
You can come to Memphis and you can average 60 yards a game, 50 yards a game. You'll be one of our marquee receivers. Rock Taylor's still here. He's probably going to be our number 1. You can slide in number 2. And then Auburn, it's going to be tough for them to make the college football playoffs.
It is.
Any year. We have a great opportunity. Now, you're going to go in, you're going to be the 12 seed, and you're going to play Georgia or Alabama or Michigan or Ohio State your first game, which would be awesome to see.
But that's what you want, Brian. You want the exposure.
And it's going to be way harder, Memphis. I know I've seen a lot of people get excited about, Florida State trying to get out of the ACC. Maybe that could mean Memphis, ACC looks for someone else to add. They give Memphis a call. It'd be great. I would love that. Now, what Bill said, I think, is a very real possibility of if Florida State leaves the ACC, I think Miami's going to want to leave the ACC. If Miami wants to leave the ACC, Clemson might want to leave the ACC. If Clemson leaves the ACC, Duke might want to leave the ACC. If Duke leaves the ACC, North Carolina is 100% leaving the ACC.
And then you got to think of that, Brian. That's a great point. And where are these teams going to go? A lot of them going to want to go where? To the SEC.
And that's where we get to this 75, 80 team division.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it a conference. And you don't want to get left behind in that. And so I think that's obviously certainly a reason. But also, financially, it's much better to be in a power conference. But you also have a better opportunity, I think, right now for Memphis to get into the college football playoffs. Basketball doesn't really matter.
Basketball don't.
Gonzaga has dominated in the WCC, which is a better conference than what the American is right now, I think. But last year was not a better conference than what the American was. And so, I don't think it matters as much in basketball, but certainly football. And football, kind of dictates everything. So it's a very good very good question, very good conversation. We might talk about it with Greg because I think it's got a lot of layers to it for sure.
Shout out to Bobby Bailey.
Thanks, Bobby, for the call. Text in your thoughts. Text in anything really. Call in. It doesn't matter. 901-360-8255. We're taking texts. We're taking calls all week, not just today. All week long. We'd love to hear from you. We're supposed to be picking bowl games. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about these 2 bowl games. We'll also talk a little bit about the Grizzlies. They've got a big game tonight. Let's get to a break. We're going to do that on the other side next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424,710 MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
You gotta check out Genesis Diamonds for the holidays. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine. This year, when it comes to jewelry for Christmas, you have a refreshing alternative. Genesis Diamonds gives you so much more in quality, in selection, and in value. And right now, you can buy anything at Genesis and get 5 years, 0 interest financing. So you can get that $3,000 diamond pendant and pay just $50 a month, or that $6,000 eternity band for just $100 a month. Everything's included in this amazing holiday offer. All GIA certified natural diamonds and all lab-grown diamonds, even all our luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Imagine that $15,000 Rolex for just $250 a month. You can even finance the sales tax. Don't let talk of rising prices and high interest rates dampen your holiday spirit. At Genesis Diamonds, they are lowering prices and taking interest rates down to 0. Get that headliner gift they deserve and make your money go farther than ever. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Approved credit. See store for details.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One. Thursday night for Week 16 comes from Los Angeles when the Rams host the Saints. Derek Carr and New Orleans are in the playoff hunt thanks to back-to-back wins. Also at 7-7, Matthew Stafford and the Rams kept their postseason hopes alive with their own W last week. Spiro Ditas and Mike Golick will call the action on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
Wendy's Peppermint Frosty and Frosty Cream Cold Brew make the perfect gift for anyone in your life.
especially for you. Yeah, this year you're sitting on your own lap and getting yourself what you want. Finally. And now every day this season, unlock 20% off your total when you get any small, medium, or large Frosty in the Wendy's app. So order something from your own wish list this year.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's with app offer and registration. Applies to menu items only. Taxes and fees excluded.
O'Reilly. Does your vehicle have over 75,000 miles? Get maximum high-mileage engine protection with Syntec Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $34.99. Limit supply. Ask for Syntec High Mileage at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
All right, Johnny, we only got a couple of minutes till we've got to get out for the hour. So let's go ahead and make some bowl picks. We've got 2 bowls that we need to pick. One tonight, the other tomorrow afternoon, but it's, I think, a 5:30 start. So by the time it's time for us to make our picks, obviously, we got a loaded show on Fridays. By the time we would have a chance to pick during Friday Football Forecast, the game would have already started, and that is Georgia Tech UCF tomorrow night at 5:30 on ESPN. So let's start off with tonight's game. USF versus Syracuse on ESPN. Right now, both teams 6-6, and right now Syracuse is a 3-point favorite. I believe Byron Brown, who I certainly remember at playing the Tigers a couple weeks ago, I guess about a month ago now. He was a really good player. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards, has 23 touchdowns on the season. Really good player. I'm not sure what the status of things are for Syracuse and their quarterback. But right now, Syracuse a 3-point favorite. Who are you going with tonight?
Oh, I'm going to go with Syracuse, man.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Syracuse.
Any specific reason or just, like Syracuse?
I just like Syracuse.
Okay. I am going to go with USF plus the 3.5. Syracuse.
I understand that. They're
got
a solid team.
Interim coach in there. Well, I guess an interim coach coaching.
Yeah, he is. He's an interim
new
coach.
Coach isn't going to be coaching in a bowl game for sure. So they got a new coach. I don't think Johnny Radio was talking about this earlier, and I think he said that they're starting a backup quarterback. I don't think Syracuse's starting quarterback is playing. I haven't seen. He also said he thought a backup quarterback was starting for USF.
Really? I didn't know that.
I haven't seen that. I was looking it up. I was trying to find anything that kind of pointed in that direction.
But I know for sure Syracuse have a backup,
they
right,
have a backup quarterback going. So I think Byron Brown, it sounds like is going to start. So I'll go with them tonight. Also, what they did yesterday, they've got to be feeling good after, the number 1 group of 5 class in college football.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're feeling good about that. So I think they come out surprised. People, maybe they don't win, but I think they keep it close, 3.5 points. I think they can keep it to a field goal or outright win it. Tomorrow afternoon, evening, 5:30 on ESPN, another game involving 6-6 programs, Georgia Tech and UCF. Right now, UCF is a 4.5-point favorite, but we're playing it off of 5.5 because that line just changed down to 4.5. So we're playing it off 5.5. What do you like in that one? Georgia Tech and UCF. I should say Brett also is taking USF tonight.
Man, this was a tough one for me, Brian.
Okay.
I love UCF. Mm-hmm. They was in our conference. I love everything about them.
Yep.
But man, I got to go with Georgia Tech.
I'm also going with Georgia Tech tonight, and so is Brett. So a group lock plus 5.5 with Georgia Tech. I thought a much better team this year. Brent Key in his first year at Georgia Tech, I thought has done a really good job.
He did a real good job for his first year.
Absolutely. So I think they keep that rolling tonight against UCF, and I think they could even win this game tonight against the Golden Knights. But we need to get to a break. I said earlier we were going to talk Grizzlies during this segment. I promise we're going to get to Grizzlies probably around 5:30 or so because we're loaded the rest of the show, and we've got a big guest next. We're going to talk basketball on the other side with Keith Smith.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV, Seat 7, 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 699,094, MSRP 21,385, Sorrento PG 242,710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462, 2822, MSRP 38,705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024, dealer stock only.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard for University of Memphis football. Let us help you use your home's value for all those projects or vacations you've been putting off. Now you can borrow up to 100% loan to value. No closing costs for loans $50,000 or less. Online banking accessible. Interest-only payments for the first 10 years. You can apply at southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back.
The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We've seen a couple of wrecks out here in the last few minutes as traffic starts to pick up over here on 240 east and westbound around Airways up by Mill Branch. Still looks good south of Memphis with that traffic flow on 55 down through DeSoto County. It's also on the increase already. I-40 over here at Warford and Hollywood. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64. They are your last-minute Christmas shopping headquarters. Go by and see them at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us now to talk the NBA, and he joins us now. He's with us now. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. And obviously here in Memphis, a lot of people excited for today, have been excited pretty much since Tuesday when Ja Morant returned to the court in New Orleans against the Pelicans and really went off in the second half, finished with 34 points and the game winner on a buzzer beater that he drove to the rim and got it tonight. He'll have his first home start with the Grizzlies since being reinstated. What did you make of that game by Ja Morant in his first game back against the Pelicans?
I thought he looked great. I thought, not only did he look good, but he was ready for the moment.
Yeah.
At the end of that game. He wanted the ball. He wanted it in his hands, and he delivered a win. And this is a team that they need to start stacking wins. We've talked about it. They've got to kind of keep this moving forward now, keep winning games, because that's how they're going to get themselves back into the playoff picture.
We talked last week, we've been talking about this really since Ja Morant has been out, but, obviously the Steven Adams injury still looms large with kind of some of the rebounding issues you've seen in the past, but Brett has brought up a lot of times since Ja Morant has been out that there hasn't been a lot of effort. There have been some effort concerns with this team. They'll it seems like they'll look up at halftime and they're down 15 and they just kind of give up, and that's kind of what's led to this big hole. Bringing back a franchise player like Ja Morant, how much energy does that put into a lineup? And do you think with Ja Morant coming back, they can make this push throughout the season and maybe get one of those playing spots?
Yeah, they can, for sure, because to your point, it adds a huge amount of energy back in everything. And I think if you're Taylor Jenkins, your kind of goal that you're putting out in front of the guys is, hey, let's just make up a game a week, right? That's going to be kind of where your thought process is. That'll get you past the trade deadline, and then you kind of see where you're at. And if you can do that, now that's easier said than done, right? Yeah. Making up a game every 3-4 games is not an easy thing, but the way you do that is just start stacking wins. And their challenge for the Grizzlies is not only do they have to make up those games, they've got to pass a couple teams that are in front of them. They've got to hope somebody else falls out. So you're relying on a lot more than just you going out there and winning games, but that's where it starts. So I think, you take this as, all right, we got this going. Now, the big thing is, got to figure out the home road stuff, because this is the weirdest home road split, this season I can remember. Being 1-11 at home is one thing. If you're like the Detroit Pistons and you're a terrible team, but 1-11 at home and 6-8 on the road, if you had just won, even if that was just even, right? If you were 6-6 at home, all of a sudden you'd be right in the mix. So that's something they've got to really work on. Make sure you take advantage the rest of the way, get those home wins, and keep this thing moving forward.
Yeah, it's been a weird start to the year from really start to finish. Tonight they've got the Pacers at home, and obviously this is a Pacers team that it seems like a lot of the country has kind of fallen in love with. Tyrese Halliburton is kind of starting to become a young star in the league. They made that long in-season tournament run, which gave an opportunity for a lot of people that wouldn't be watching Indiana Pacers games to kind of see this team. But in these last games, since the in-season tournament championship loss to the Lakers, they've lost 4 of their last 6 games. What do you make of what the Pacers are doing right now, and what do you think happens tonight at FedEx Forum?
Yeah, as far as what's happening, I think the big challenge is the Pacers it's no longer catching teams off guard with the way they play. Mm-hmm. Teams are not just seeing them and then like, oh my gosh, this team plays so fast, it's so offensively focused, and it's hard to change on the fly like that in the regular season. What we're seeing with the Pacers is teams are now they're used to it a little bit, meaning they're expecting it. Yeah. They're going to know, hey, this team's going to want to get up and down. They're going to want to push pace. They're going to really kind of challenge us, and I think that's going to be something that now they're going to have to adjust to. They've got to start playing at least a little bit of defense. Mm-hmm. You're not going to turn into a top 10 defense, not at this point. Like, they are what they are. But you got to put in a little bit more effort on that end, because you can't keep playing games that are 130 to 125 and hoping you're going to win them. Because on the nights when their offense just it's merely good instead of great, they don't have enough to win because their defense is never anything above really bad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hopefully it's favorable for the Grizzlies tonight and they can get a win in Ja's first home game back. I saw earlier this morning the NBA has opened up All-Star voting for starters at this year's All-Star game. I don't want to have to put the burden on you of your 5 starters in both the East and West, but if you had to vote right now for starters in the All-Star game, who are some guys that would be on your list?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, I tend to, unless a guy is absolutely, oh my gosh, they're the best player in the league, right, or one of the top players in the league, I try to reward winning to some extent. So, I think, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, those are a couple of locks in the West. I think the Clippers on this 9-game win streak playing really great basketball. I think Kawhi Leonard needs to be in the mix. Luka, obviously. Then I think you've got De'Aaron Fox has been very good for the Kings. So that maybe would be the group, and that's leaving out guys I think, the voting will really favor, like LeBron James, right, Kevin Durant, players like that. In the East, Giannis and Embiid, of course, those two guys have been absolutely, dominant players. I think Tyrese Halliburton deserves a little bit of love, and probably someone, you want to reward the Celtics for getting out the way they have, so probably Jason Tatum would be the guy for them in that mix. And then you just kind of, is it Damian Lillard? Is it Tyrese Maxey? Do we try to, get a second Celtic in there? What does that look like? But, it's a good year because we've seen a lot of, star players really step forward and play really, really well so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned in there the Clippers. They've won 9 straight games. They've got a game tonight against the Thunder, which should be a really fun one to watch. What have you seen? Because obviously when the trade happened with James Harden and then those games afterwards, a lot of people were coming out saying, oh, this was a mistake. It's hilarious that this isn't working. And it really wasn't at first, but now it really looks like this team is coming together. They're clicking on all cylinders. Those, Kawhi Leonard is having an unbelievable stretch, and James Harden and Paul George are not far behind him in terms of production. What have you seen that has kind of changed in these past 9 games?
Yeah, I think the big thing, and I'll even take it past that and take it to the beginning of the season, because I really do think that's kind of where this started. I think Tyronn Lue came in and very much was, this season, there's not going to be any feeling taken into account. Guys don't like it, too bad, right? I'm going to play the guys that I think can help us win games. And he kind of put that right out there with Terrence Mann at the start of the year. I think he can help us win. Terrence Mann's going to be in the mix as one of our starters. Then we get a little bit deeper into things, and the next thing you see is the Harden trade happens, and it was bumpy at first, which I think we all expected it to be a little bit. Now it's starting to get moving in a better direction. But after that, P.J. Tucker comes in, and Ty Lue pretty much says, I don't think you're one of our better players. I don't think you're going to help us win games. So he puts him on the bench. And, he's riding his starters. There's other guys that have seen their roles change. Russell Westbrook went to the bench. I think, Ty Lue, that's a big part of this. It is, hey, if it doesn't work this year, y'all may not be gone, but I'm going to be. So we're going to do what we can to try to make this work. Because if it doesn't, then, there's going to be changes coming. So we might as well give it a shot, because what difference does it make?
Talking to Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us every single Thursday to talk the NBA. You also mentioned Joel Embiid and was unbelievable last night for the 76ers, which they really a battle test game against the Timberwolves that have been really good this season. A 127-113 win for the 76ers. Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey combined for 86 points for the Sixers. Embiid scoring 51 of those. For a guy that was awarded MVP last year, what is the biggest thing you're noticing from last year to this year of Joel Embiid? I didn't even notice this. Maybe it's just the lack of 76ers games I've been able to catch this year, but it's passing. Almost nearly 6 assists per game right now? I mean, what have you noticed that he's been doing this year?
Yeah, the passing is a big part of it. That's one. It's not that he hasn't been an offensive hub before for the 76ers, but they're using him as a playmaking hub now, too, where it really is, hey, we're going to, let you set things up, and guys are going to play off you versus him being more of a play finisher at times. So that's been obviously really, really big. And I think his defense has been excellent, too. He's really still bringing it on the defensive end. A lot of times we see guys, especially big guys, when their offensive role really increases, we see the defense start to take a bit of a step back because they have to exert so much energy offensively that the defense doesn't always stay where it is. And he's been terrific. He really is, getting after it on that end of the floor too. So, all around, I think, Joel Embiid he's an extremely special player. And, the only questions have been, is he going to be on the floor? And is he going to be on the floor when they really, really need him to be? And then is he going to produce when they need him to in the playoffs? And it's always been a little bit shaky with those last parts. So we'll see if he's past all that stuff and can really be, a different kind of player. They're going to absolutely be in the mix to, take this thing home.
Wow. The other guy that really stood out last night for the Sixers, like I mentioned, Tyrese Maxey. And we've been I know, Keith, we've talked about him for now a couple of years and kind of what he has done for the 76ers, first coming off the bench and then really kind of seeing a lot of action last year. But this year as kind of the marquee guard for the 76ers, how have you seen him kind of improve taking that role as kind of their star guard?
Yeah, we kind of saw glimpses of this last season, especially where it was like, I think this guy might be ready for a little bit more. And I think that was also part of what maybe changed Philadelphia's mindset on we may not need to give James Harden, every penny we possibly can for as many years as we possibly can. I think that turned a little bit into let's, see what we got here with Maxey. And if Harden wants to be a part of this on a lower number, great. And then clearly he didn't. So that turned a different direction. But I think Tyrese Maxey, he's extremely aggressive, and he's also extremely efficient. He doesn't take a lot of bad shots. He just gets to his spot. He makes plays. He is really, really good. So I think, his leap forward, that allowed them to make the Harden trade. And now I think Daryl Morey knows going forward, I've got my two guys. I've got Embiid and Maxey. Everything we do from here forward needs to be up, maximizing talent around those guys with guys who are going to fit and elevate them because he knows now I've got my two stars.
Yeah. The Knicks beat the Nets last night 121-102, but the big news from the Knicks is that they've applied to the NBA for a disabled player exemption with the news that Mitchell Robinson will miss the rest of the season. How big of an injury is this for the Knicks?
Yeah, massive. It can't be understated. They're also going to be for at least a couple weeks without Jericho Sims, who's really their third string guy, but kind of to keep continuity with their lineups, the Knicks were starting him and bringing Isaiah Hartenstein off the bench. So now Hartenstein moves into the starting lineup, played very well last night, and they know they're going to get production out of him. But now they're going to Taj Gibson behind him.
Wow.
That's where it's gotten to in New York at the 5 spot. So not having Mitchell Robinson, who is, for my money, is like the best offensive rebounder in the game. He's just a killer rebounder all around. Great rim protector. And in the way the Knicks play defense, he comes up, hedges hard at the level of the ball, has to recover all the way back to the rim. You have to have athletic big guys who can do that stuff for them to play the way they want. And now to know, he's out for the year, that's just crushing, because we initially thought, all right, 8 to 10 weeks, get him back. We'll have, a month or so to get ready before the playoffs start, and then we'll be ready to roll. And now the Knicks are looking at, all right, we've got to go in a completely different direction with that.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned Taj Gibson's a guy that they're now going to have to rely on to give them backup minutes. And I was seeing some tweets last night that Taj Gibson was, visibly tired out there and visibly exhausted on the court. And he's waving to the bench to get him out. How many minutes can you really get out of a guy like Taj Gibson?
Yeah, right now you're hoping you can get somewhere in the 10 to 15 minutes a night range, because what they're going to do is they're going to ramp Isaiah Hartenstein from his about 25-ish minutes a night. You're going to try to get him up into the 30 to 33, 35 range, and hopefully that's you can get him there within the span of maybe the next couple of weeks. I don't think the average fan knows how hard it is to ask a player who's a backup player, hey, not only start, but now you also are going to play 10 to 15 minutes more than what you usually do. That's a big ask. So that's that's where they need Taj Gibson to get to, because after that, their next option is really kind of going to Julius Randle at the 5. And that's something they have not wanted to do. That's the spot where I think Tom Thibodeau knows the defense just isn't going to be good enough if we have to pull that lever. And I think he knows that's not really where we want to be. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. Otherwise, you start looking at, all right, it's trade season, right? Or what are we going to do? Because now, again, this is not, hey, we just got to get through the next month or two. Now it's turned into, all right, we've got a problem for the rest of the year, and you may be looking at, all right, we need to add another big into this mix, because the Knicks they're too good to simply say, well, we'll let the chips fall where they may. They know they're a very good team, and they've got to get it figured out.
Yeah, and it doesn't get easy for them now. Back-to-back games against the Bucks, game against Oklahoma City, in Oklahoma City, at the Magic, and then at the Pacers. And speaking of the Magic, road game for the Knicks coming up in a couple of weeks. But the Magic have now lost 3 straight games, 5 of their last 7. Are you worried about this team and what they've done lately?
A little bit. I think what we've seen is they're playing some good defensive teams. They lost 2 of those to Boston, 1 to Miami. Those are teams that are smart, veteran teams. The Magic got a little too content to take 3-pointers, and some of those 3-pointers were coming from guys that you maybe don't want taking a lot of 3-pointers. They've also, I know this maybe sounds strange at this point in his career, but they really, really miss Joe Ingles. He was such a stabilizing force for them on their bench. Really kind of keeping everybody organized, keeping things moving. And then the book is now fully out on Anthony Black. He's a fun young player. He's going to be a really good player. He's just not there yet. So what happened is, in the 2 Boston games, the Celtics approached it very differently than they did when they lost to the Magic in the in-season tournament on Black Friday. What they did in the 2 home games in Boston was they essentially said, you know what, we're going to ignore Anthony Black and Goga Bitadze unless they have a foot in the paint. Otherwise, we're going to pretend like they don't exist. We're going to send Helpep, Banchero, and Franz Wagner, and add Jalen Suggs and whoever else is in the game. And that's made it really difficult on the Magic. So they got to get Markelle Fultz back in there for his offensive production. Wendell Carter just came back, so that helps. But, the Magic will be okay. It's just, you hit a little bit of a bump in the road. The big thing you can't do is you just can't let it spiral.
That's right. I saw, Keith, earlier you were tweeting about it. It's also kind of been in the headlines really everywhere, but we have learned some new things about Zion Williamson's contract in the last 3 years are unguaranteed. What have you learned about his contract and kind of the quirkiness of it, I guess?
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it, because I'm seeing a lot of people think that there's one of 2 things that happen here, that Zion's contract is all of a sudden he gets paid nothing, and he has to earn it all back. That's not really how this works.
Right.
What this means is his last 3 years are non-guaranteed. There are, each year, based off of the prior year, there are weigh-in check-ins, and there are check-ins for games played. And if he plays in certain amount of games, he can trigger a whole bunch of guaranteed money. If he makes weight so many times each year, he guarantees even more money. So those are the components that'll get him there. Now, what happens for the Pelicans, again, I saw some people saying, now the Pelicans have all this cap space, what are they going to do? They don't. The only way you actually get any benefit from this contract being non-guaranteed is if you waive him. So if the Pelicans waived him right now, they're out of this contract with this year's salary and then basically half of next year's salary being owed to him. But it's Zion Williamson. They're not going to do that. So that becomes the thing. And then the other, on the flip side of this, I've seen people who think, well, Zion can earn more money if he stays healthy. That's, again, not how it works. Mm-hmm. It just changes the guaranteed portion of his contract. So really, the only way this even comes into play in the slightest bit is if the Pelicans say, all right, you know what, we're going to waive him. And the only way that's going to happen is if we get to a point where all of a sudden Zion he just cannot play. Mm-hmm. They just cannot get healthy, cannot stay on the court. Then the Pelicans may say, all right, it's time. We tried. We've done everything we can. Time to go in a different direction. But until that point, I think we're going to see everything just continue on like this news had never come out.
Yeah, certainly interesting kind of tidbits in there for sure. Last thing for you, Keith, before we let you go. I was a little shocked this morning when I woke up and saw the Detroit Pistons, who have lost 24 straight games, are a 2.5-point favorite over the Utah Jazz tonight. If they remain, and I believe they will, if they remain a favorite, it will be the first time that they've closed as a favorite since November 27th when they hosted the Wizards and lost 126-107. Now, when you look at the Jazz, a lot of guys out. Jordan Clarkson, Keontae George, Taylor Horton-Tucker, Lauri Markkanen, Omar Yurtseven. I mean, a lot of guys out for the Jazz. Do we finally see this 24-game losing streak come to an end tonight?
Yeah, I saw, several people make some version of the joke of if the Pistons want to keep this streak going, they're going to have to earn it tonight. And that's part of it because that's just where the Jazz are at, right? So I think there's that portion of it. But, I mean, Detroit has shown us they'll lose games, to good teams, bad teams, and they're killed by bad teams. I mean, the reality is they got to come out and show up and play. And there's a lot of pressure on them, right? Because they do not want to be the team that gets anywhere close to that record. And they're pretty close right now. They're only a couple games off of this single season stretch of 26 straight losses and only 4 games off of the overall stretch of 28 straight losses. So I think, they better get this one. This is kind of their last best chance for a little while because the schedule gets, much harder from here on out. So they're going to be going. But you also think the flip side of it too, right? There's some pressure on the other team because the other team doesn't want to be the ones to lose to the Pistons. So, maybe that works in their advantage. But I think there's a chance they get off the shine tonight and get this win, and then maybe that gets them started in a bit more of a positive direction. But we'll see. I know, for a game between two really bad teams, I'm going to be a lot more invested in it than I probably should.
I was about to say, I mean, this is this got really exciting all of a sudden. I can't tell you the last time I watched a Detroit Pistons game this year because of how bad they've been, but I'm going to have to tune in tonight. Well, Keith, thanks so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and we'll do it again next week.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and yours, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Keith. Keith Smith joins us every single week to talk the NBA. You can check out his work on Spotrac. Also, tune in and check out the Front Office Show. They do a great job over there, really breaking down the NBA and also breaking down some things like we just talked about with Zion Williamson, his contract and everything, kind of the quirkiness of it. So they do a great job over there. You haven't talked for a couple minutes. Your voice a little cracked over there.
Yeah, my voice was cracking.
It's okay.
Hey, man, I was just going to piggyback on what you were saying. Keith and them, they do a phenomenal job, man. They do a great job over there. And I was just looking at some of this stuff, and it's just amazing, man. It really is.
Yeah, and Spotrac, I mean, a lot of contract stuff over there, but also some really good stuff just about some of these games and stuff. So, and a great follow on Twitter. I like to point out, we've got a couple guests that are really good follows on Twitter.
Yeah,
Keith is one of those. I've seen he does a lot of days where he'll go back the day after and watch games and give breakdown
man,
points
that's
and
amazing. I gotta
notes
look
that
at that.
he took out from a game. So really fun, especially if you like the NBA. But we need to get to a break. When we come back, we got Thursday night football tonight. Saints and Rams. We'll break that down. Talk about some other things going on in the NFL. That's next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us
at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
The season has changed. You know how I know? It's finally here, the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. Excellent deals on pool tables, shuffleboards, and saunas. Oh, we're just beginning. Tired and sore from shopping? Check out the huge selection in stock of hot tubs and massage chairs. Oh, and you can surprise the kids with the best stuff, like a new arcade, a game table, even a play gym. Gifts for the whole family to enjoy and enjoy together. Also on sale, theater seating, outdoor kitchens and grills, patio furniture, and fire pits. Merry Christmas from our family to yours. That's Family Leisure of Memphis. Every year we wait. They always deliver. They've done it again. The Family Leisure Christmas Sale is happening at I-40 and Whitten Road. That's 2120 Whitten Road to be exact. That's the place of shopping heaven. Family Leisure, where family and fun all come together.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424,710 MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Merry Christmas from Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. We're here to make your holiday season extra cozy and cheerful. For the first 50 customers who purchase a new Carrier system or tankless water heater, we have a special gift for you. Choose from a free 75-inch smart TV, a PlayStation 5, an Xbox X, a Nintendo Switch, or a $500 gift card on us. It's our way of spreading holiday joy. But hurry, this festive offer will only last through December 24th. Enjoy a comfortable Christmas and a special present from Choate's. Because when you choose us, you're not just a customer, you're family. Schedule your free estimate today at 901-347-8086. Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Let our family serve your family this holiday season. Wishing you a warm and joyful Christmas from Choate's.
Memphis's oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Johnny Hill with you. No Brett Norsworthy.
Yep.
Today he's out for the rest of the year, which sounds like a long time, but it's really not. You're just taking a couple weeks off with, obviously another year of traveling with Ole Miss football, and he doesn't take a lot of vacation days, so he definitely deserves it. But it's Thursday, so we've got Thursday night football tonight. Saints at Rams. And a reminder, it's on Prime Video, but as always, you can listen to it right here on Sports 56. Pre-game is going to start at 6:30 tonight with that kickoff probably around 7:15 or so. And while we're talking about that game being on our great station tonight, let me remind you what we've got this weekend. Saturday, Ole Miss versus Southern Miss. That pregame starting at 12:30. Tip-off will be at 1 o'clock. Right after that, we've got Bengals at Steelers at 3:30. Bills at Chargers at 7 with the Saturday doubleheader in the NFL. Sunday, we've got you covered from noon till the end of the night with NFL on Christmas Eve. Browns at Texans, Jaguars at Buccaneers, Patriots at Broncos, and then Monday, the Christmas Day triple header, Raiders at Chiefs, Giants at Eagles, and then capping it all off with Ravens at 49ers. So I know a lot of people will be traveling, going to Christmas parties, different sorts of events over the weekend. So make sure you keep it locked in to Sports 56 so that you don't miss a single snap of these NFL games. But like I said, tonight, Thursday Night Football, Saints and Rams, a big, important game for both of these teams, both sitting at 7-7 right now, and both could really use a win when we're talking about, the rest of the season and getting close to the playoffs. If you look right now, both of these teams, Rams sitting at 7th right now, and the Saints are sitting at 9th. So both of them right there.
Yeah, they're right
around, there. Need to continue winning to lock in their spots in the playoffs. So a big, important game for both of these teams. Johnny, obviously Thursday night, does not go against any of our picks or anything, but just looking at this game, 2 7-7 teams right now. Rams a 4.5-point favorite. When you look at the injury report, a handful of guys out for the Saints, only 2 guys out, or questionable for the Rams. Joe Newtbroom, their offensive tackle, is questionable tonight. Trey Tomlinson is out for the Rams. What do you think today? Who do you got? Rams and Saints right now. Rams 4.5-point favorite.
Man, I got the Rams. And one thing I say about the Rams, I like the Rams. I like Puka, and I like Cooper Kupp. I feel like they can be the next great duo in the NFL. And since Cooper Kupp coming off of 2 back-to-back 100-yard games, man. So I'm just confident in Matthew Stafford. He's going to be able to give it to his weapons, and that New Orleans defense can be had. So I'm going with the Rams.
I like that. I mean, I think it's going to be. You make a good point. Puka Nacua has been a big surprise this year in the NFL, but has been a really good player. I'm wondering. Brett always says, water finds its level. Do we see that with Puka Nacua? But now you got Cooper Kupp in there, and this Rams team has been really good. I don't think they've played world beaters, but in their last 5 games, they have won 4 of the 5. They beat the Seahawks. They went to Arizona and got a big 37-14 win at home against the Browns, 36-19 win. They went to Baltimore and lost in overtime, which is impressive. And then last week, an 8-point win over the Commanders. So this is a team that has been playing well. On the flip side, New Orleans has really struggled against good teams.
They have.
You look at these last 2 weeks, it's been the Giants, which I thought they looked good. That was a game, and me and Johnny Radio were talking about this earlier today, but that was a game where you come in against against this quarterback that the entire nation is talking about, Tommy DeVito, whatever nickname people want to call him. He's just, come off a big win on Monday Night Football, and, this guy is awesome. And everybody, me and Brett picked on Friday, and we both picked as our shock the Giants, which I, over the weekend, realized that was a stupid play, and I bet on the Saints. But they went out there and 24-6 win over a team that was kind of hot and playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, they were hot at the moment in time.
Yeah, and then the week before that, playing the Panthers, a 28-6 win over a really bad Panthers team. So, they dominated in the games that they needed to dominate in. But before that, Vikings, a 27-19 loss. Falcons, a 24-15 loss. Lions, a 33-28 loss. It seems like when they play teams that are kind of in their neighborhood or better than them, they really struggle.
They do, man. And like I said earlier, I feel like that secondary especially can be had. And Puka was my rookie of the year before C.J. Stroud just went crazy, man. So I believe in Puka. I like his game. And I just think that that's a perfect person to have with Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp can slice you up in the slot, and Puka's on the outside. So it's amazing, man. I love where they're going, man. They're going to be really good next year.
Yeah, and it sounds like C.J. Stroud's going to be out again with his concussion as they've got the Browns this weekend, which would be a big loss for sure.
That's a huge
for
loss.
The Texans. Some other news, Jamar Chase is going to be out versus the Steelers with a shoulder injury. Mason Rudolph is starting for the Steelers this weekend with Kenny Pickett officially being ruled out this weekend against the Bengals. So some interesting interesting storylines and injuries this weekend. But you, Johnny, have been really into the story about George Pickens.
I have.
And
it's been disappointing.
Didn't block on a play. But basically, what are you going to do? I mean, you would think young guy, chew him out, maybe sit him, but the Steelers kind of need him out there.
Mike Tomlin quotes, "He's too talented to bench him."
I mean, he's not wrong.
He is
Good
for
player.
sure not wrong.
I would like it. I mean, probably Cal would get some more looks, but
yeah, Calvin could get a lot of looks, but I see why because he's in a tough spot right now. They're a young team, and he's a cornerstone of that receiving group. So of course you want him out there, but Shannon Sharp made a good point, man. When you reward bad behavior, man, that just let it keep going on, man.
Sure. Yeah.
So I just feel like George Pickens, I love George Pickens' game, but it's just like the fact that he openly admitted out and came out to the media and said that's a bad look, man, and that's unneeded press on the Steelers at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Another headline I saw earlier, saw this on Twitter, Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson, who was the offensive rookie of the year last year, is reportedly upset with the Jets' wasted season this year.
Oh, yeah.
Saying it had, quote, taken a toll on him. Wilson only has 3 touchdowns so far this season, and this was quoted on a couple weeks ago, right around Thanksgiving, where kind of this frustration started to boil. Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson seems really frustrated following the 34-13 loss to the Dolphins. Quote, "I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell the fans. I'm out of words. I'm out." And so, it's been a tough season for the Jets. I mean, the Jets came in, they were a fun team last year. I don't think many people had super high expectations for them last year. And then they go out and bring in 2 really, really good players, Garrett Wilson on the offensive side, Sauce Gardner on the defensive side. They did a great job drafting. Yeah, they win offensive and defensive rookie of the year. And they had some other young guys that were really good last year. And so you thought, okay, this could be a fun team. This is a building team. Well, then they go out and make the splash of landing Aaron Rodgers over the offseason. And so the sky's the limit. People are saying the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. It's their year. There's so much hype around them that they basically get forced into Hard Knocks. They didn't want Hard Knocks, but Hard Knocks was like, you are the biggest show in the NFL right now. We're coming. And so that's a lot of excitement. And as a player, you're sitting in there going, all right, we were a fun team last year. And if you're a receiver, you're going, I had a great season last year. And now I've got a can't-miss Hall of Fame quarterback that's going to be my starting quarterback. Sky's the limit. Yeah. And so then when you have, 4th snap of the season and that Hall of Fame quarterback goes down and now the team really just can't get anything going. You can't even figure out who's going to be your starting quarterback. You're going back and forth. So, that is a lot. And, I understand the frustration and I can understand, not really being happy with how this season is played out. And, that's a guy you don't want to be mad. And, you don't want to have him mad at the organization because that's a guy that you want to become a franchise player for you.
Yes, and at this moment in time, he already is a franchise player just by the talent-wise. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is, man, the New York Jets, man, once Aaron Rodgers went down, their whole season went down, man. And you can just tell the whole team got deflated, man, and It's next year for them. It's next year. But like you said, Brian, you made some real great points, man. They had a lot of hype coming into this year, especially once they had Hard Knocks, man, and you really had the opportunity to look behind the scenes and see how that organization is ran. Yep. They had a high standard for themselves, man, especially with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. So, man, this year haven't been the best year for Garrett Wilson. Sauce Gardner has played at an elite level, but he not having the same amount of impact as he did last year.
Right. So, and I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm done.
I think for a young player, being eliminated from playoff contention so early, like the Jets have been, that can be crushing for a young player because then it's like, what am I out here playing for?
And Brian, you got to look at where he came from. Yeah. He came from Ohio State. He used to playing, in big games. Yeah. They're not playing in big games, man.
No, they're not. And then the season is pretty much over for them. They're just playing out the rest of the way. Now, a good thing from it is, looking at mock drafts, it looks like they'll have around the 7th pick. And, it looks like it has them taking Joe Alt from the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, who's a really good offensive lineman and, could beef up that offensive line, give you another,
they need that
talented offensive lineman to protect your quarterback. And then, it sounds like Aaron Rodgers wants to come back next year. It sounds like he wants to play next year and maybe even the year after. And so, if you can bring him back, get him healthy, if you can have a strong offensive line to protect him, next year could be a big season for the Jets.
It can be, Brian, but how many years is on Aaron Rodgers' contract? I think it's like 2 more, isn't it?
I think it's either 2. He might have signed a 2-year. It might have been a 2-year remaining on his contract because the language I remember him saying earlier this week was, I told them I would give them 2 years. Yeah. I wasn't able to give them a year this year, so I want to still be able to give them 2 years.
Okay.
And so I'm looking it up right now. No, it was 3 years. No. That was the deal he signed in Green Bay. He had 2 years remaining when he went. That's not true. I don't know why it said that. He has a lot of years left on his contract.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
But I think he told them when he played that he was gonna give them 2 more years.
And man,
no, 3 years. I don't know.
The point
people don't know what they're talking about.
Hey man, the point I'm trying to make is that the longer that A-Rob is there, man, that's the better for Garrett Wilson.
Sure.
And that's what Garrett Wilson just thinking about. He said, he basically saying, I lost time to get chemistry with A-Rod during the season. And ever since then, we had Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson really don't want to be there. So after that, man, it just went downhill, man.
Yeah, so, it looks like, okay, I finally have an answer. Aaron Rodgers has agreed to a new 2-year, $75 million guaranteed contract through the 2024 season with the New York Jets. So that would go through next season. I guess the plan was I'll play these 2 seasons and then I'll retire, but now he hadn't played a season, so he wants to play another one, it sounds like. I doubt that happens, but we'll see. I don't know. It's certainly interesting. It's certainly a story to keep an eye on even when we get to the off season. But we need to get to a break. We're late for one. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Are you wearing a hat that says meat?
Yep, it's the final piece of my collection.
Your collection of meat hats?
My collection of Central Barbecue merchandise.
Oh, okay, I've noticed you have a few Central Barbecue t-shirts.
A few. I've got a lot of Central Barbecue t-shirts. In fact, I have them all.
How many are there?
Well, let's see. There's 11 of the basic t-shirts.
11?
And like all other cool Central Barbecue merch, they're available at eatcbq.com.
Did you just use the word merch in conversation?
Not just any merch. CBQ merch. Hats, t-shirts, cups, even kids and baby clothes. For when the little me comes along, that kid's going to love Central Barbecue because they have such great
merch.
Ribs.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Make the season extraordinary when you shop the spectacular holiday collection at Sissy's Log Cabin. From engagement rings to designer jewelry, you'll save on gifts everyone will love, all while enjoying the Sissy's promise of unmatched service and experience at any of our 6 locations or online at sissyslogcabin.com. Embrace the magic of the season, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Johnny, I want your big number first.
Oh, my goodness. My first time doing it.
Your first time doing it.
Okay, get this, Bryant. My big number
Give
is
it to me.
2.
Very small big number.
Not too big, but very small. But, hey, man, and guess who it's about? It's about Jackson Smith and Jigma.
Okay.
Get this.
All right.
I wrote this down,
Please.
Brian. I wrote this down. He is the only rookie since 1960 with 2 game-winning touchdown receptions
Really?
in the final minutes of a fourth quarter.
Wow.
That's amazing, man.
It's a good big number.
Yes, it is, man.
I like Jackson Smith and Jigba a lot. I think he was a really good get by the Seahawks. I think they've got a really good receiving core. I think they're a good team. I don't think they've necessarily produced as well. But I do think they have some good players on their team, and I think they're a fun team to watch. And Jackson Smith and Jigba is one of those. I remember before the draft and after the draft, especially when he got up to Seattle. I keep up with. Obviously, I'm a Kraken fan. I'm wearing my Kraken sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And I like the Mariners. They're not my favorite team, but I'd say they're second or third favorite. I like watching the Mariners. I like keeping up with them. And I like reading stuff out of Seattle about those two teams and listening to stuff out of Seattle about those teams. And if you're going to listen or read anything out of Seattle about sports, you're going to hear something about the Seahawks.
For sure.
That's just how it goes. And so, around the draft process was, right during baseball season. And so I was seeing a lot of, I was listening to a lot of their stuff about baseball games, watching the baseball games on television and stuff like that. And, I mean, they were oohing and ahhing over Jackson Smith and Jigba and talking about the coaching staff. They had been, you look around and all of the receivers they have on that roster, but that Jackson Smith and Jigba came in first day of practice and looked like a veteran. Was easily did not have those rookie hiccups or, look slow. You put him out there with DK Metcalf, Lockett, all these other veteran guys that they've got, and he fit right in. He just looked like one of the veterans like the rest of them.
Man, and you're right, man. I completely agree. And with him playing the slot position, man, I love him there, man. And that gives him more opportunities to just run free.
Sure.
Because you got DK taking most of the deep balls, and you got Tyler really taking the intermediate ball. So Jackson Smith is getting a lot of the short pass, and then also, like he did score the game winner, getting a deep ball.
Sure.
So, man, I love where they at right now.
No, absolutely. My big number comes from the NBA. Johnny, I gave a number earlier that was a good big number. You did. It could have been a good big number, I guess I should say. My big number is not much bigger than your big number, and that is 8. 8. Joel Embiid, over his last 8 games for the Sixers, has produced a stat line of 41.4 points per game, 12.9 rebounds per game, 10.8 free throws made per game, 61.5 field goal percent, and 92.5 free throw percent. No one else, not a single person in NBA history, could match that stat line, even if you took the best 8-game span of his career in each category separately.
Man, that's amazing. Great big number. Phenomenal big number,
He is
Brian.
doing
phenomenal,
unbelievable things. And we talked to Keith Smith, and it's very, and Keith said this, it's not very often that you see a guy go out and win MVP and then come out the next season and look even better than he did when he won his first MVP.
I agree with Keith.
And Keith was talking about how they're putting more offensive, a bigger load on him offensively to kind of take over. We're going to run the offense through you. You're going to be our main guy, our main focal point in the offense. And he's still producing defensively at a high level.
Man, there's going to have to be a conversation. Is he the best guy in the NBA right now?
I think that's a good conversation to have, and I think he's certainly up there along with the best. And I think he's on his way. I don't know if I can pull up in fast enough the odds, the current betting odds for MVP in the NBA, but I would be shocked if he is not number one. Because,
me too.
He's just doing unbelievable things, and it'd be crazy to see him go back to back. Let's see, awards. MVP, right now it's Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Sixth Man, Defensive, Clutch Player of the Year. They don't have MVP odds.
And man, this would be
on the NBA right now.
And think about this, Brian. We'll have 3 players from international play will get 2 back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah.
Giannis, Jokic, and if Embiid do it, he'd be the third one.
He'd be the third. That'd be unbelievable. We don't have NBA MVP odds, but we do have Bronny James odds. I wasn't familiar with this. Which team will Bronny James be drafted by in the 2024 NBA draft? There's not an option to pick none.
That's interesting.
So, if you just thought he was going to come back next season for his sophomore season, because, he just went into cardiac arrest 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I think he'll try to make the jump, but I'm surprised we have odds on here for Bronny James. Lakers, of course, lead the way at plus 600. We need to get to a break, so let's go ahead, take that break. When we come back, we're talking Tigers with Greg Gaston.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV Seat 7 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$650 acquisition fee. Forte RE 699,094. MSRP 21,385. Sorrento PG 242,710. MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 462, 2822. MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024. Dealer stock only.
Give the gift of Grizz this holiday season with a 6-game holiday pack. The best prices on the season's best matchups, including the Lakers, Clippers, and more. Holiday packs start at just $30 per game. Visit Grizzlies.com/packs for more information.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Traffic's on the increase even more now on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385 Millmores Parkway. That's been in pretty good shape so far as you continue out towards Collierville. Now, it's already gotten a little bit busy over here on 40 East at Sycamore View Road. That's only going to build even more with Via in the next few minutes on 40 East as you continue out towards Junktown Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry at 7525 Highway 64. They are your last-minute Christmas shopping headquarters. Shop local this holiday season and save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Johnny Hill with you on a Thursday afternoon. We're about to talk to Greg Gaston. He joins us every single Thursday afternoon to talk Tigers. And Greg, he's brought to you every single week by Jim's Place in Collierville, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Neil Bar and Grill, also Oak Court Salon. Sports 56 listeners get 25% off at Oak Court Salon. Ashley Waddell and Lane Lascola are expert stylists at Oak Court, and they are giving Sports 56 listeners 25% off their first appointment. That's right, cuts, color, highlights, balayage, Brazilian blowouts, and split-in treatments. Book today and save 25% off at sports56.glossgenius.com. Greg joins us now to talk Tigers. A lot to get to. Tiger basketball, Tiger football. But let's start with the basketball team. Penny Hardaway's group has just completed a gauntlet of a 3-game stretch, back-to-back top 25 opponents, one of those being on the road down at College Station against Texas A&M, and they get wins in all 3 of them. Greg, we haven't talked to you since the Clemson game or the Virginia game. What did you make of these 2 wins for the Tigers? Good afternoon, Greg.
Well, good afternoon to you, Brian, to Johnny, obviously stepping in for Brett Norsworthy. We appreciate all the fine work you're doing, Johnny, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Look, it's been a great run, right? Since the last time we talked about the importance of those games, playing ranked teams, especially playing ranked teams at home. I thought Clemson would be the tougher of the 2 opponents, and it ended up being that way. And I think we talked about getting a split. You would be pretty happy.
Yeah.
They go out there, they win that hard-fought game against Clemson, not shooting the ball particularly well, especially from the outside, but they play lockdown defense, especially late in that game, to win the contest. And then they turn around and then they come back on Tuesday, play a completely different style in Virginia that likes to slow it down, and Memphis was able to dictate the pace, do what they needed to do to jump out to an early lead. And once you have Virginia down the way that they were down, it's tough for them to come back because they lack that firepower. So that was also an impressive performance by Memphis. You get ranked on Monday in between the 2 victories. Now you're feeling real good going into your final 2 non-conference games, including the game against Vanderbilt on Saturday, and then conference play. So right now it's all positive for the Memphis Tigers. Yeah. And, of course, Naquan Tomlin, I'm sure you'll ask me about him a little bit later on. Having that news just adds to all the good news so far for the Tigers.
Absolutely. Well, going back to that Clemson game, you were on the call for ESPN Plus for that one, and I went back and was watching some of the sequences of that game, and really, I've been impressed with what Malcolm Dandridge has done. Still not able to give you a whole lot of minutes out there, but I remember, and I think the day after, maybe a couple days after, the Tiger basketball Twitter page even posted the clip. It was late in the second half where Malcolm is guarding PJ Hall, and then he switches onto a guard and is playing some really good defense at the top of the key, and then ends up poking the ball free, diving on it, and getting a steal. What have you made of the job Malcolm Dandridge has done really on both ends of the court, and especially with Jordan Brown not with the team? Well, I guess still with the team, but sick, right?
Yeah, right. Some of the best basketball I've seen from Malcolm Dandridge since his days at East High School before he was broken down by the knee injury. It looks like he's the healthiest he has been his entire career at the University of Memphis. You're right, he's not going to play 30 minutes, but if he stays out of foul problems, he goes a solid 20, and he gives you that big body. But to do what he did during the sequence that you're talking about was absolutely amazing. Dive into the ground, getting the shot clock violation. If that's what you're going to get from Malcolm Dandridge, even without Jordan Brown, who really, quite frankly, wasn't giving you much anyway, which was a surprise, and now the addition of Tomlin, Memphis is going to be fine in the interior, in the paint. They're going to be fine both on offense and defense. But Malcolm Dandridge is playing with a renewed vigor that we have not seen. He was questioning whether or not he wanted to return. He looked at a couple of other possibilities out there late in the summer, finally decided to come back, and he has bought in on this team. There is really good chemistry. He obviously likes what he sees. They like what they see in him, and he's become a fan favorite, as he's always been. He's always been a really colorful character. He's got a great personality. But when you're dialing on the floor with that big frame, you're going to endear every fan to you.
Greg, you talked a little bit about Malcolm, and me and Brian talked a lot about David Jones yesterday. But which Tiger in particular have you really been most surprised of this season?
Well, I think David Jones is certainly the surprising one to me. And I'm not sure if that was your answer to that question, if you brought that up yesterday, but I didn't know how good the guy was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good that, to me, he looks like a surefire NBA player.
Yes.
I'm not sure where he is. I know right now he's probably not even looked at as a first-round draft pick, but I would have to think his stock is rising. So I did not expect David Jones to be their number one option, their go-to guy. I knew Quinterly was going to be really good. He had a terrific quarterback out there. I figured Caleb Mills will be hard-nosed, kind of a junkyard dog-type player. Obviously, there's the disappointment of Jordan Brown, who just did not live up to what we thought we would see on the court from Memphis. Jaquan Walton has been hot and cold, but has done some good things defensively. But I don't think there's any question that the guy, to me, that surprised me more than anybody is not that David Jones was good, but David Jones was great. And that's what he is right now. He's a great player.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people have been talking about the addition of Naquan Tomlin, and he was officially able to be with the team on the bench in the last game against Virginia. Do you expect that we see some action from him this weekend against Vanderbilt, and what do you expect him to add to this team?
Well, he's going to add an awful lot. Here's a guy who's 6'10" and can get up and down the court. He's a really good athlete. He's very versatile. He can score the ball. He can rebound the basketball, block shots. Not a big-time outside shooter, but he can step outside once in a while and knock down a shot for you. You can see the combinations being used with Malco and with Tomlin on the floor at the same time. They could also go with Tomlin and then four guys around him, take out the other big in Malco. There's a lot more options that Penny Hardaway has, and he already has a ton of options. I know that it was reported earlier today, I believe Jason Munns had it from the Commercial Appeal, that they are still waiting on the final graduation certificate from Kansas State. I have no idea why it takes this long. The guy walked over the weekend. It doesn't make sense to me. But as soon as they get the certificate, maybe it'll come tonight or tomorrow, I expect that he'll play. Vanderbilt is a struggling basketball team, and it's a good way to get his feet wet, even with the lack of that many practices, and he's practicing now with the team, so he's with the team. I think he'll get integrated on Saturday. But again, until they get this certificate, he won't be available to play, but hopefully that'll come here in the next 24 hours or so.
I know the Tigers were out and about today around the community with, Christmas type events and that sort of thing, going to schools and everything. And Parthy Badiah tweeted out earlier that Jaquan Walton has been wearing a walking boot around, and he asked Penny about his status for this weekend, and Penny's answer was he's been limping all day. Right now, with the way he's walking, I'd say he's out. Doesn't rule out Walton versus Vandy, but seems very unlikely that he plays this weekend. And when you're talking about Jaquan Walton, there's been kind of a lot of discussion. I know Johnny Radio, who I produced for early in the day, he has been a little disappointed and questioning what's going on with Jaquan Walton. I've talked to Dave Lotion about it, and Dave thinks it's just a guy that's accepting a different role and trying to give the team something different. When you look at Jaquan Walton and kind of the stretch we've seen over these last 4 or 5 games, what do you think it is? Do you think it's a guy struggling? Do you think it's a guy getting acclimated to maybe a new role? What do you see it as?
Well, first of all, let me say, as far as the injury is concerned, I don't expect him to play, and I think you're not going to get a coach in this day and age saying that the guy is definitely out, unless it's an obvious injury that everybody knows. So Penny's keeping it close to the vest, but why even chance it if he's not close to 100%, and it appears that he's not going to be? It's a Vanderbilt team, again, that you should beat. Now, you can't let your guard down, but you should be able to take care of business even without Jaquan Walton. So I don't expect him to play on Saturday, but it doesn't seem like it's some long-lasting injury. As far as whether he's been disappointing, I completely understand where Johnny's coming from. Jaquan Walton was the guy last year at Wichita State, and he's had every opportunity to be certainly one of the guys here with the Memphis Tigers. Sure. And it opened up the season like gangbusters in those first couple of games. So people saw right off the bat, wow, this is going to be nice to see this guy at 6'7" who could jump out of the building and is a hell of an athlete. And he has struggled since with the outside shot. So I think people are putting a lot of stock on that outside shooting, which they should. I mean, he's been abysmal. Let's be honest. If you look at the numbers, he's been abysmal from beyond the arc. But there's 2 things that I really like. Number one is he's playing defense. He's getting in there. He's getting his nose dirty. He's playing physical. He's doing a good job in altering shots. He's also going to the hole the last couple of games. That's what I've been calling for. Don't just settle on the 3, even though hopefully you'll find that 3-point stroke sometime soon. But go to the hole. You have that athleticism and those long arms and that ability to jump. And he's been going to the hole a lot more frequently the last couple of games and is contributing offensively like he is defensively. So I'm not one that says, oh, yeah, he's just been a real huge disappointment. He has not been. But he hasn't been what he can be, and hopefully he will find that, and he will be that player that Penny Hardaway brought him in to be.
Greg, also, I wanted to touch on the Tigers. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now, and with a win against Clemson and also Texas A&M, where do you see the ceiling of this team going, man? Where do you see us in the future?
Well, the way I'm looking at this team is they should close out 2 more non-conference games with W's, and then they go into conference play. And they will be favored in every single game with the possible exception of that last game in Boca against Florida Atlantic, depending on how Florida Atlantic's season goes. So with that said, and it's almost impossible in any conference to run the table, but let's say Memphis splits with Florida Atlantic, maybe there's 1 loss on the road in the conference, and they win all the rest of their games. You're talking about 4 total losses, 27-4. And I asked Jerry Palm on my show on Wednesday, what's the ceiling for Memphis? He said, it's likely not a 1, but it is a 2.
Wow.
So we're looking at a possibility that Memphis could be a 2, could be a 3. And that's been the goal of Penny Hardaway by putting together this non-conference schedule that he does every year, is you put it together, and then you have to go out there and win. And what's interesting is you put the schedule together before you even know what the team is that you're going to have.
That's right.
Because Penny's basically assembling the team mid to late summer. So this team has come through for the first time, taking advantage of those tough non-conference games early in the season. Yeah, they've won a few of them over the years, but I'm talking about this run where they've won back-to-back-to-back games against ranked opponents for the first time in regular season history for the University of Memphis. So you're looking at the possibility, unless something completely happens, God forbid, injuries, things of that nature, off the court issues, that this team could be about as high a seed as you can get, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're that high a seed, the expectations are higher, but you have a better route to get to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and the Final Four. And nothing is out of bounds right now when you think about the possibilities for this Memphis team this season.
Yeah. Last thing for you, Greg, on basketball, then I want to get to football. It was announced this morning. We saw it in football, and now they're bringing it to basketball. They what they call the Win Together, pay $45, starting with the conference slate. Home games, the first home conference game will be against SMU. They win that game, you get a free ticket to UTSA. They win that one, USF, so on, so forth, until the end of conference play or until they lose a home conference game. I know it was talked about a lot when the football team did this back at the beginning of the season, but what do you think about them doing it as well in basketball?
The marketing department has done a great job for the University of Memphis. You got to think outside the box, right? Let's be honest, in 2023, going into 2024, people are more apt to stay at home, watch games on TV. You can watch them live streamed. You can watch them if they're on the networks. You can watch a game no matter what and no matter where. So you want to get those butts in the seats. And the way they do that is by giving them opportunities like this. I think it's fantastic. Now, people in the past, Memphis fans, have supported Tigers teams when they win, no matter who the opponent has been.
Right.
It's obvious you're going to get a crowd for Clemson, and you're going to get a crowd for Virginia, despite it being a weeknight. Now, are you going to get the crowds for the American Conference opponents, which, quite frankly, are not that good, with the exception of Florida Atlantic? So you give them this opportunity. It's cheap. It makes a lot of sense. I think it's a no-brainer for fans, and hopefully fans get back into that mindset where let's just go to these games and support our team. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They can't do anything about the conference. All they can do is go out there and continue to play the way they've been playing. They've been entertaining from the get-go this year, and hopefully that will continue with big crowds, because it's obvious that they have used that as motivation these last couple of games, those real nice crowds at FedEx Forum, to just help them push past the finish line.
Absolutely. We're talking to Greg Gaston. He joins us every Thursday to talk Tigers. You can also listen to him every single morning on Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. Greg, I want to talk some football, and it was a big day for the Tigers yesterday and National Signing Day. They signed 35 players. I believe 20 of those were either JUCO or high school. The rest were transfers out of the transfer portal. What did you make of what Ryan Silverfield and his staff did yesterday?
Well, again, I'm not a recruiting guy, so I don't know all these kids. In fact, I don't know most of these kids.
Right.
So I will defer to people who do this. And I've talked to a bunch of people, and then I was over at Ryan Silverfield's press conference yesterday. And look, coaches are always going to be happy on recruiting day. They're going to talk about that class glowingly. They're always happy, and they talk positive when they get a new job, right? We're going to bring a championship to whatever the league may be. They're always up. They're always optimistic. But in this case, from the people I've talked to as far as dealing with recruiting services, they love this class. They think Memphis did a really good job. And we know the problems that they have as far as the NIL. The collective has done a good job, the 901 collective, but they need to do more, and people need to do more, because they have to be the ones to donate that money to go into the collective, to go to the players in the NIL. That's just the way it is in this world. And Memphis has got a little uphill battle against some of the other teams in the league. And that's even with SMU leaving to go to the ACC. So to go out and put this class together the way they did, just like they did last year, with a class that I thought was terrific, and you saw it with the play on the field by a lot of guys who were picked up, like Blake Watson and like Chandler Martin, who were just picked up in the transfer portal. So to look at this class, to see a guy like Mario Anderson, the running back from South Carolina, who could have went to USC, could have went to Oklahoma. Now, people, I'm sure, driving around listening or at home, or they're rolling their eyes. Greg, come on. No, he could have gone there, but he probably would have been the third or fourth running back.
Sure.
You go to Memphis, you have a chance to win the starting job, and he knows the long line of great running backs that have come through Memphis that are currently playing in the NFL. So you combine that with whatever NIL money they were able to get, with the ability to come in and play right away, and the ability to get these players into the National Football League, especially at the running back position, made it attractive for Mario Anderson. They got a quarterback who they absolutely love, Tim Cramsey. He zeroed in on this guy. He said, this is the guy we want. This is the guy we think will be our future quarterback. And, of course, there'll be a battle eventually after Seth Hennigan wraps it up this last year, this upcoming 2024 season. But they really like this young man, Arrington Maiden, out of the College Station area, so right where Texas A&M is. They use the junior college ranks perfectly to go out and get offensive linemen. That's a key, to go out there and replenish what they've lost from the offensive line. They went out and got their kicker, Cade Costa from Ole Miss. They went out and they got an Australian guy who's a punter from UTEP, a transfer. I think they did really, really well, at least on paper. We'll see if it comes to fruition.
When you look at the transfer portal, and not only Memphis, but other Group of 5 programs, I know USF had a really good day yesterday. I know Charlotte landed some Power 5 guys. When you look at guys like Mario Anderson from South Carolina, like Jair Shorter from Auburn, the offensive lineman Isaiah Reed from Louisville, and you look at these guys, Mario Anderson I think is a perfect one where he could have gone to Oklahoma, he could have gone to USC, but like you said, probably would have been a backup, third string running back. How much do you think the Tigers and other teams in the American or some of these other Group of 5 conferences are selling their program as, look, now that the 12-team playoff is a thing, you come here, we get talented players like you, and you're going to have an opportunity to be a part of the 12-team playoff. You're going to have an opportunity to go and start against Alabama or Ohio State or name a top 10 team. I mean, how much do you think that is going into play when you're talking to some of these Power 5 transfers?
It's definitely a selling point. There's no question. Now, is it the first or the second selling point? No. The first selling point is NIL money.
Yeah, absolutely.
What can you give me? Number 2 is how much playing time am I getting? Am I coming in as a starter? Am I battling 5 other guys? And then probably third would be, just like you said, we have an opportunity to be the best of the rest, if you will, and I don't mean that to be a negative thing. We can get into the playoff, and then who knows what happens if we get into the playoff. First things first, we want to be able to win our conference championship, whatever that conference may be, if it's the Sun Belt, if it's Conference USA, or in this case, the American Conference. So it is certainly a selling point. So teams are doing that in the portal. Look, you basically need a recruiting guy just to follow every day what's happening in the portal.
Yeah.
For example, for Memphis, and this won't be just for Memphis, for every team playing in the postseason, as soon as the game is over, they will lose some players.
Right.
And Ryan Silverfield knows that they will lose some players. So he and his staff every day are keeping up with what's going on. And then don't forget, in the spring there's another session.
That's right.
Where all of a sudden spring ball's done and they open up the portal again and players leave then too. So it is absolutely free agency. That's what we have. But a bad program can turn around the program with a number of good signees. They can turn it around that quickly. Now, you still want to mix it up with the high school kids. Tulsa did a great job getting the high school kids.
Yeah.
And you want to get the JUCO guys, too. But when you're depending on the high school kids, it's, 2-year turnaround, maybe even 3-year turnaround before they're making an impact on the field. With transfer portal guys who have been around to a couple of places, especially Power 5 conferences, and maybe gone for whatever the reason may be, lack of playing time, maybe an injury, you can have these guys come in and play right away and make an impact right away. So, again, you can fix your roster completely in just a couple of picks.
Yeah.
The problem is you have to do it every single year, which I think makes these coaches, their jobs in this day and age, much harder than it ever was. So I know a lot of them are getting paid handsomely, but they're earning it. A lot of them are earning it because their job is now threefold, basically, with the addition of what they're doing with the portal.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I saw Hugh Freeze talking in his press conference yesterday and said, our coaching staff can't sleep because, other programs are going and texting our recruits trying to get them to flip, right before signing day. So, it's now 24/7, 365-day commitment to try to, lock down recruits, keep them committed, and go out and get guys in the transfer portal. So it's certainly a lot of work. Well, Greg, we're getting closer to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl when Memphis takes on Iowa State. So we're going to talk a lot about that next week when you join us again because we're out of time now. But thanks so much for joining us, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. And like I said, we'll do it again next week.
Merry Christmas to you guys as well. Take care.
Thanks, Greg. Greg Gaston, he joins us every single week to talk Tigers, and it's a big game next week. I've got we have our first depth chart released, or I guess the only depth chart released by the Tigers for that game against Iowa State. I'll talk about that a little bit, what I learned today, but it's out there, and it's some interesting things on it. I'm curious. I'm hoping you can help me with a couple of these guys that I'm not as familiar with, because they're having to step in and play roles that they really haven't played this year.
Bigger roles.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I'm with Greg. I think the Tigers did a really good job yesterday.
They did.
We talked about it to
Phenomenal
open the show,
job.
and I think they did what they needed to do to keep themselves. I think they're in the mix. When you talk about group of 5 teams next year, I think they're certainly in the mix next year.
Oh, yeah, they're in the mix.
But you had to lock down some guys and bring in some talented players, and I think they did that yesterday. Hewitt and Dunn, Boot and Jean, they're on the historic square in Collierville since 1961, and they're with us every single afternoon, our 5 o'clock sponsor. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. They've got Western wear, but also work boots, safety toe, soft toe, rubber boots, boots for every single occasion at Hewlett and Dunn. From head to toe, they've got you covered with every brand imaginable, like Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean. Whether for men or women, they've got clothing options like jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville, or to their website, hewlettdunn.com. You better hurry up and get out there because we're only a couple of days away from Christmas, and they've got you covered on everything you could possibly need to get somebody for the holidays. But maybe, it's difficult to go and shop for somebody for clothing. Maybe you don't know what size they are. Maybe you don't know what to get them in terms of clothing, and you don't want to make a mistake and get them something they won't like, even though they'll like everything that Hewitt and Dunn has. They've also got accessories, and you can't go wrong with accessories. Hats, sunglasses, boot care products, and in every area, team snapback or cool hats you can think of. Whether it's the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks, I'm sure there were some local commits that went over to Hewitt and Dunn before their signing day and grabbed a hat, maybe a Tiger hat they could put on when they signed, or Mississippi State, or
most
or
likely
Ole Miss.
they did.
I'm sure they went to Hewitt and Dunn to get those hats, and you should too. If you're going anywhere over the holidays for traveling, their bag selection is top notch. HewittDunn.com, but please head out to Collierville, give them a visit, and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
While interest rates are on the rise everywhere else, at Genesis Diamonds, we've got just the relief you need this holiday season. 5 years, 0 interest on anything and everything. That's right, Genesis is rolling back interest rates to 0.0%, so that $5,000 diamond ring is yours for just $85 a month. Nothing's held back. Rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, even luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Just pick any item for that special someone and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. A $10,000 designer ring comes to just $167 a month. Don't miss this incredible offer. Where else in America can you get financing for 0%? Colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry, the year's most treasured gifts, all included in this once-a-year offer. At Genesis, we're breaking all the rules to make sure this holiday season your money goes farther. Best prices, unbeatable selection, highest quality, and super aggressive financing. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended. On approved credit, see store for details.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
All 650 acquisition fees. Sportage R723 5498 MSRP 28940. Sorrento PG 424-710 MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822 MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024 with approved credit dealer.com.
Hey, my man Jeff Allen, what's going on for the holidays over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
It's the season of giving back at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, and I've got your holiday presents right here.
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Award-winning SUV 2024 Kia Sportage LX, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2023 Kia Sorrento LX, perfect for your road trips, $329 a month. And the 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we got it at $459 a month, all 36-month lease.
Well, you can't get much better than that, Jeff. And all Kias come with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. And from all of us at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah, happy holidays.
Grind, don't stop. Join Jared, Dez, Ja Morant, and your Memphis Grizzlies tonight for a holiday showdown versus the Indiana Pacers presented by Bally Sports. Arrive early. First 10,000 receive a Grizzlies rally flag. Get ready for a star-studded show and secure your tickets today by visiting Grizzlies.com.
It's the hometown Memphis Tigers taking on Iowa State in this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Plus, Memphis music legends, the Barkays, will be there performing the music that made Memphis, and you'll want to be there too.
Everybody say, so big up. Say, so big.
It's all happening Friday, December 29th at 2:30. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's still heavy over here at times on 240 as you get on to Bill Morris Parkway going outbound back out towards Collierville. A little bit of traffic developed just in the last few minutes at times 55 northbound between South Parkway and McLemore in that road construction. Watch for some radar out towards Fayette County on I-40 going westbound. You're going to see more and more radar over the next 24 or 48 hours. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, we got less than 30 minutes left in today's show. Bryant Dacus, Johnny Hill with you, and we've got a somewhat marquee game on television right now. Kentucky and Louisville battling it out in hoops. And right now, Kentucky up 31-18. Earlier, Louisville was up 5-0 to start the game. I mean, a hot start for Louisville. But listen to this, Johnny. It's a home game for Louisville. Mm-hmm. As you know, big rivalry between Louisville and Kentucky, and these two programs don't like each other very much.
Yep.
Louisville is very bad. I saw this earlier today that Louisville had a practice this morning, or maybe it was yesterday. Spirited practice of more than 2 hours. This is from yesterday. Spirited practice of more than 2 hours for Louisville basketball this morning, complete with piped-in crowd noise. Cards will have shoot-around this evening. Remember, tip for Kentucky game is Thursday at 6 p.m., not 7. What jumps out to you at that about that tweet?
I don't know,
Silence
Brian.
isn't good for the radio.
Yeah, my fault, Brian. I don't know, Brian. I don't know. Give me some, Brian. Give me some, Dakis.
Piped in crowd noise for a home game. You're playing in your arena. You shouldn't need piped in crowd noise. That's what teams do when they're going on the road.
No, wait.
Louisville just assumed Kentucky would pack out their gym, and so they wanted to prepare for it.
That's a losing mentality, man. I'm sorry, Brian. That's a losing mentality.
I mean, that's crazy.
So, because you know this, typically, as you normally say, the team normally always prepared that way for a visiting team. Like, for instance, when we played Mississippi State, we had cowbell
sounds.
Yes,
yeah.
you know, like different examples, man. Like at Ole Miss, they probably played Death Valley music and all that when they played LSU and all that. Just trying to get that feel, but at a home game, that's a little crazy.
It's wild. It's really,
That's
really
crazy.
wild. And I guess it's not working because they're down 11 right now. And this was a game that
How
they
is
were
Rob
leading.
Dillingham doing?
I don't know. I saw them close up on him earlier, but I don't know how.
I like
how many
him.
points he has. I mean, he's a good player.
I like he can play.
This is, and I feel I'm scared to say this. It's a fun Kentucky team. I mean, this
is.
Kentucky team's fun to watch. They're young. They've got some really good athletes, and they have a good mix of. They've got. We were talking to Kevin Sweeney yesterday, and it really seems like they've got a good mix of. I think like 4 of their top 6 scorers or 3 of their top 5 scorers are freshmen.
That's what I'm saying.
But those other 2 guys are like 5th-year seniors.
That's what I'm saying. That I like that mix, Brian. Like of a young guys and old guys. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But for our Memphis Tigers, we have a lot of older guys and they work the same way. It just depends on the culture and the team, man.
Sure.
That's why that ultimately what it comes down to.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you're, a place like Kentucky and you can load up and get 5 stars.
That's what they do, man.
It doesn't always pan out, but it seems like this year it might be working out for Kentucky, ranked 9th in the country right now. But I expected something like this. There's a story out on The Athletic that broke this morning. I haven't had a chance to read it. It's going to be the first thing I read when I get off work today.
I love it.
But it's basically about the environment and the kind of program that Kenny Payne's running, and it has a lot of, they talk to players on the team, they talk to, people on the coaching staff. All of these guys are going anonymous, but, I would be really surprised. I should say I shouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this game, gets out of hand and they get blown out against Kentucky.
For sure.
After a story like that comes out, and I've heard it's, there's some pretty, interesting things in it. I would not be surprised if Louisville made a move very, very soon.
I agree completely with you, especially since that story came out.
Yeah, well, what Kevin was telling us yesterday, which is really interesting, is they're trying to find somebody who wants to take the job as an interim. It's such a bad job right now that really, who would want to take that job? Who would want to be the interim coach after it? I guess you could say it's an opportunity for one of the assistants to be an interim coach, and maybe you could see them turn it around and maybe they have a spirited effort and they end in their 4th or 5th in the ACC, and that could propel them to hire that person as the head coach, or it could open up an opportunity elsewhere. But it doesn't really work out like that all the time.
The fall of Louisville is crazy because
it is, and there's a lot of people, listening right now that are laughing at this because of the rivalry between Louisville and Memphis in the past. My dad hates Louisville. And so he's probably, right now if he's listening, he's probably going, good. This is what Louisville deserves, what they get, So, I'm sure a lot of people are happy about this. And I'm not saying I'm not happy or happy about it, but like you said, it's crazy to see Louisville being such a storied program and winning a national championship in the last 15 years, and now they're at the complete bottom of college basketball.
And it's disappointing because it's just crazy. They produce a lot of great talent from Louisville, like Terry Rozier and Montrezl Harrell, who went there as well. Like, they produce NBA talent.
Yeah.
And just to see that the fall of them going through this, and then how you are saying that they had crowd noise for a home game.
It's crazy. It really is.
Yes, there need to be some heads need to be moving, man.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Last thing before we get to a break, tonight Ja Morant makes his home return game from the 25-game suspension. I'm sure a lot of people are already heading that way to FedEx Forum. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Electric
I
night.
think there's going to be a lot of people there. What do you expect tonight from Ja after what we saw in Game 1, first home game? What do you expect?
I expect Ja Morant to really show the world that he's still the top point guard in the NBA. That man, Ja Morant, when he said he kept receipts, this is one of the receipts I was talking about, and this is what sports is all about. Everybody been talking about Tyrese Halliburton, how he's on the rise and how he coming on. Ja Morant trying to come off of a comeback season.
Yeah.
Like, I love all of this. This is amazing television. This is amazing for sports. And it's going to be electric in the FedEx Forum tonight.
Yeah, no, I think it will be, and I'm excited to see it. I know a lot of people I know are going to this game tonight and are really excited about it and have really kind of had this game circled on their calendar ever since the 25-game suspension was announced, and they could put, okay, that's the game that, that's going to be his first game back, that's going to be his first home game back, and so I think there's going to be a lot of people there. He's going to get an unbelievable ovation when he's announced, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think you're right. I think he's heard the noise of Tyrese Halliburton is having a crazy season, better point guard than he is, and so I think he's going to take that and really want to prove something. I just hope he doesn't play too tight. First game back, wants to after that performance wants to produce so much that he gets too tight and is a little hectic with things. I don't think he will. He's professional and he knows what he's doing. He's an all-star for a reason. He's a franchise player for a reason. So I shouldn't be telling him how to run anything.
And also, Brian, I don't know if you remember at a point in time when the Memphis Grizzlies was losing and some of our own fan base were criticizing Ja Morant, and they even made a poll talking about, I'd rather have Tyrese Halliburton over Ja Morant.
Yeah, I think that was actually a poll that our buddy Zach Boyd, who produces the mornings, I think he put that out.
Yeah, so
people were voting on it. No, it's interesting. I had a buddy last year that when the Grizzlies were had this 11-2 record with Ja Morant not playing, and we don't need Ja Morant, trade him, we could get something. And I was going, no.
Back to reality. We got to reality real quick.
Yeah, that is not what we want to do. So no, it's gonna be a lot of fun tonight. If you're already heading there, be safe driving and be loud and enjoy the game tonight. But we need to get to our final break of the day, and when we come back, we're gonna wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Spiro Adidas here from Westwood One, inviting you to join me and Mike Golick for Thursday night action when the Los Angeles Rams host the New Orleans Saints. It's an NFC battle of two playoff hopefuls, with both at 7-7 and coming off wins last week. Who will pick up the pivotal late-season win? Find out on air and on the free live stream sponsored by AutoZone on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
O'Reilly. Got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wendy's Peppermint Frosty and Frosty Cream Cold Brew make the perfect gift for anyone in your life. Especially for you. Yeah, this year you're sitting on your own lap and getting yourself what you want. Finally. And now every day this season, unlock 20% off your total when you get any small, medium, or large Frosty in the Wendy's app. So order something from your own wish list this year.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's with app offer and registration. Applies to menu items only. Taxes and fees excluded.
Make the season extraordinary when you shop the spectacular holiday collection at Sissy's Log Cabin. From engagement rings to designer jewelry, you'll save on gifts everyone will love, all while enjoying the Sissy's promise of unmatched service and experience at any of our 6 locations or online at sissyslogcabin.com. Embrace the magic of the season, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, golf, or real estate, having the winning coach makes all the difference in your success. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I'm with Coach Terry Tippett, winner of 6 state basketball championships. Coach, what's been the secret to your and your team's successes?
Sheldon, there's no one secret. It becomes a pattern of success after coaching for so many years and learning the ins and outs of the game and the players, a lot like the pattern of your success in selling homes.
Thanks, Coach. Like you and your program, I developed my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option, and I also tried to use it in my golf game.
Sheldon, tried is the optimum word. You better stick to selling homes, as you're always hitting holes in one at that, instead of double bogeys.
Thanks a lot. And if anyone is thinking of selling their home, make sure and talk to 2 to 3 coaches. I mean real estate brokers. Let me be one of them. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com and be a winner.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Johnny, what I learned today is that the Tigers have revealed their depth chart for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which will be played next Friday on December 29th. Jonah Dillon tweeted it out and also had some notes, some things that stood out to him, and they also stand out to me. Backup quarterbacks for Seth Hennigan with Tevin Carter out. It's listed as Harris Boyd or Cade Cunningham listed as backup quarterbacks. Not the Cade Cunningham that will be suiting up tonight for the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham, the transfer from Marshall. Mitchell Gildoss is going to be starting at right guard. Terrence McClain and Marcus Henderson at right tackle.
I like Marcus and Terrence.
Yeah, Tyron Taylor is going to get a start at cornerback, the transfer from Colorado. What can you tell me, Johnny, about Tyron Taylor?
Tyron Taylor, let me tell you this, man. First, shout out to him. That man is elite ball skills. He got elite ball skills. He got great footwork, man. And he really, man, I'm telling you, he really can play on Sundays, man. That man is not just.
What year is he?
I think, if I'm not mistaken,
I got it right here.
Tyron is a junior.
Tyron is a junior.
Yeah, Tyron's a junior. And, man, when I tell you, man, a great person on the field and off the field, that man is elite, man.
Well, good. I'm excited to watch him play next Friday.
Me too, man. I'm looking forward to it. And also, fun fact, that's my birthday.
It is your birthday.
Yeah.
That's right. So that will be a fun day. We'll be doing a show and watching the Tigers and celebrating your birthday. How about that?
Man. Yeah, hey, hopefully my boy get a pick. That'd be even better,
man. Birthday
man.
present. Well, what'd you learn today?
Man, what I learned today is the Pistons, man, got a 62% chance of winning, man. That's just amazing to me, Brian. They got a 62% chance of winning, but hopefully, man, they won't let us all down and get an L,
We'll
man.
see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I trust this team, so we'll just have to see what happens. What I could have done without today, Johnny, I talked about Louisville piping in crowd noise for a home game against Kentucky. Updated that score 48-33 right now, as we've got less than a minute left in the first half. But I also saw this, the managers. Do y'all do something like this? I always see it with basketball. I never see it with football. Do y'all do anything where it's like a game between managers of one team and managers of another team? How often do y'all do something like that?
A fun fact, we had a game last year against UCF. Sadly, we lost. I was the head coach.
So what is it like? What do y'all do? Like
7-on-7.
7-on-7?
It was 7-on-7. I was the head coach. We lost. Our quarterback, Mitch, he threw the game. He threw a pick. So, man, it's always a fun time.
Every once in a while, you get with another team. That's cool. I like that. So I don't see it as much in college football, but I see it a lot in college basketball. And I learned today that the Louisville men's basketball managers played the Kentucky men's basketball managers, and in basketball it must be very serious. They keep records. It's a lot that goes into it. And this was the tweet from the Louisville men's basketball managers account. Odd finish in the Planet Fitness Cougar Center tonight. Guys played hard for 39 minutes, 58 seconds. Wow. 40 minutes in a game. Why is it stopped at 39 minutes and 58 seconds?
I don't know, man.
Well, I come to find out that in this game, Kentucky held the ball for the last 2 minutes, and then when they finally gave it up, they were up to Louisville, got the ball back, and got fouled, but the Kentucky managers did not honor the foul called and walked off the court, leaving it, claiming a victory.
That's amazing.
How about
that? That is amazing.
And so Louisville managers are not happy that that's the way it ended. I believe Virginia Tech's managers put out a statement on their account saying that they stand with Louisville's men basketball managers and they want to see this made right against Kentucky. I didn't know there was this much controversy in manager games.
Hey, man, it get intense.
I guess so.
It get intense.
I guess so. What could you have done without today?
Man, what I could have done without was the whole, I'm sorry, bro, I'm going back to it. The whole George Pickens thing,
man.
No,
you like that story a lot.
Hey, man, I could have just done without it, man. I just felt like it was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
And just the media coverage of it is just this is national attention that this young man is getting, and they're already tearing down his character at such a young age, man. So I could have just done without him making them comments, and in the future he gonna look back on this and regret it, man.
Yeah. Oh, where are you beaming tonight?
Oh, you know I'm beaming to the Memphis Grizzlies game, man. Got to. Got to see 12.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a good one to beam to. We got a text message when we were talking about the Grizzlies game. It said FedEx Forum is going to be rocking tonight for Ja's return. I think it will be. It's going to be a lot of fun. I was going to beam there, but I like to spread the love. Spread it out. But it's hard for college basketball. 67 games today. We started at 10:30 was the first game. Last game at 10 o'clock tonight. I'm not going to beam to college football, but I'm going to be, I'm not going to beam to college basketball, but I'm going to beam to college football, USF and Syracuse tonight. I also want to beam to Saints Rams Thursday night football tonight. So really, whatever you want to pick tonight in football, a lot of really, really good games to choose from. You mentioned Grizzlies and Pacers tonight at 7 o'clock. That will be a lot of fun. Clippers look to extend their winning streak to double digits tonight on the road against the Thunder. Later tonight, Timberwolves, who lost yesterday, they will host the Lakers at 8 o'clock. So it should be a fun night of the NBA, college football. You've got USF, Syracuse, NFL, Saints, and Rams. Like I said, a lot of college basketball. Not a ton of marquee games outside of really this Kentucky game. Tennessee's in action right now. Purdue's in action right now. But nothing we saw last night where it was top 25 versus top 25. But that's all the time we have today. If you're driving to FedEx Forum, drive safe. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Santa needs a new set of wheels, and he's going to Sunrise Chevy Buick GMC. Sunrise has hundreds of new and used cars and trucks. This time of the year, Santa's a little strapped for cash, but Sunrise has financing with no money down on approved credit. The home of guaranteed credit approval, that's good, because feeding all these elves, Santa's credit's not so hot. A $6 million used car inventory, find new roads, sunrisememphis.com, 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
It's our season of giving back at Gossett Kia on the Pike, and we've got the perfect holiday gift for you. Hit the road with 41 MPG Highway, 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Get road-ready SUV, Seat 7, 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And 8-passenger seating in your new 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus, you'll get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition P Forte RE 699,094 MSRP 21,385 Sorrento PG 242,710 MSRP 33,010 Telluride RG 462 2822 MSRP 38,705 includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/2/2024. Dealer stock only.
The year might be coming to a close, but Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W25.